Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to more Snowbound Blood, a vast error story, a subsidiary of Decon Reconstruction, created by Ostinato and Heather, aka Jesus. How are we all doing tonight? I hope we're all having a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
This volume has a very special meaning to you, huh, bud?
Yeah, both of these characters are made by me.
Love that. Love you for that. Snowbound Blood.
Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Super Nintendo Secily.
I know that Alienoid, I believe, made like a couple of mock-up pieces of like Snowbound Blood in like NES style, like pixel art.
Oh, I love
I
that.
thought it was really cool. Yeah, I need to find it at some point.
Very good. Proplet says, "Hey Don, you did a great job in these routes."
Hey, thank you very much. That means a lot to hear. I simply went crazy when we were doing this volume.
Completely fair. Really quickly, let's just go down the list here. Plant, I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you, Flo, as well. Thank you for just dropping by. Appreciate it. Take care. Dracoff, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for the goat in. I really appreciate it. You're just gonna put these goats in and then put them away for the rest of the stream? Okay, that's fair. You can herd the goats later. Yo, Very, how's it going tonight? Well, I guess
Hello,
I guess for you, it's yes, it is morning. But
yes.
Hi, Very.
Of course, Very is here because Very is one of the writers for High End's route. So...
okay. Yeah, that's fair.
And he did a fantastic job on that, so I'm excited to read it again.
I'm excited to read it myself, yes. Diz, how's it going tonight? I hope you're having a wonderful evening. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. And, yes, love me, Super Nintendo Chalmers. Finally up at 2:30 for the gray little guys. Hell yes! Hell yes!
Yeah.
It's good to have you here. Thank you! We are going to see the funny little gray guys. Hey, I'm gonna sit this one out. I really want to play this and read the regional comic around time, so I can just move more deeply, but I'm still here to hear your voices. Thank you, Starlight. Thank you for just joining us, even for this little bit. And yes, play Snowbound Blood. This is a threat to everyone in chat.
Oh god. But also, I agree. Please read Snowbound Blood.
Jesus Christ. Hey, I'm gonna vibe in the background while I work on finalizing a new art piece. Holy shit, that's really my sin and punishment for that. Yeah, okay. That's fair. I can respect that. Jesus Christ. Oh my god.
Realistic Blood, the highest version of Secily will appear at 3 a.m.
It's exactly like Suicide Squidward, but just with Secily.
Secily, guys, it's okay.
Oh my fucking god.
All right.
Let's get into this. We've already made a creepypasta. I think it's about time we get into this.
Yeah. Also, Pen, that was the freaking horrible night to have a curse notification that Austin has when you have enough channel points to turn in cursing him.
Yes, if you look in the bottomless corner of the chat, there are the win orbs. You gain them as you continue watching, and there's a funny number of things that you can do to have
night.
Oh my god, it's amazing night to have a curse. But yeah, good night, Starlight. Thank you again, and play SBB.
Yes. Also, gotta love the freaking Volume 11 preview image.
It's very good. I can't wait.
You are looking.
Oh, I'm looking there. You're looking
with intent.
For anyone who has ever watched The Mask, I'm the scene where the guy is at the booth and his eyes pop right out and, well, my tongue doesn't roll down. But still, I'm looking respectfully.
Hey,
thank you
for the subscription.
Thank you so much for your Prime subscription. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Big shouts outs to you, Screaming Yearly. Big shouts out. Thank you.
What that you can do is have Austin single shirt.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Turn it off. Turn it off.
Can I do it fast enough? I don't fucking know. Oh no.
Hamina mask version.
Oh my god. I did actually re-enable it because I disabled it after Tuesday and then I fucking Oh shit, hang on. Please.
It's gone, I think. No, it's still at the bottom, okay.
Okay, no, Morshu Rap has been disabled. Okay, cool.
No more Morshu Rap.
No more Morshu Rap, not tonight. I can't handle Morshu Rap. I've done 5 Morshu Raps this fucking week.
I am so sorry. At least 2 more times, but I'll be saving them.
Fear. 4 times. Oh my god. Well, looks.
I've already done my first Morshu Rap, so I'm at like 2,000.
Oh my god. I fear for everything right now. At least you can't do
You're
it
lucky
tonight.
you disabled it.
I am very lucky, yes. But also, hi Austin. How you doing tonight?
Hello. Welcome.
I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us. Endless Morshu
Rap.
That was Tuesday. That was Tuesday for me, actually. That's not even a joke. You're chewing ice? You know what?
Understandable.
Yeah, that's completely valid. I was just thinking to myself, like, when's the last time I've had ice? And I realized I don't have ice in my drinks anymore. I like my drink pure, not watered. It's been more sure at 1 hour, but every time he loops it, he gets more exasperated. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh god, Dragar.
I'm having no, please. We have to get going. We have got to get going.
We gotta.
Oh my god.
The faces of evil.
The faces of evil. We're in the end game now. Each gambit draws ever closer to a convincing checkmate. Time to move the next piece. That was short. Right. Holy shit.
Alright, so I'll read for Crime's route, but for the beginning, you can take over before the perspective shift happens.
Cool. Okay. When was this released? This was
released like last year, like January.
Yeah.
January.
Yeah. I was about to say.
It's already been a year. Christ.
Early 2021. Hot damn.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Lydian? Is that how you pronounce his last name?
I say Krytum Lydian. Like the Y is like a I sound.
Lydian. Okay, cool. Krytum Lydian. God, time isn't real. No fucking kidding. Oh, hello. Alright, yeah, content warning then. This route contains discussions of relationship abuse and trauma. Glommer's late. You pace in front of his home unit compound, trying to keep out of sight of any other occupants. One in particular you very much want to avoid. Running into Sabine Barrere would be a surefire way to waste time, and that's already pitifully short supply. You don't hear any music coming from the building presently, though, which you take as a sign that he's either not home or he's asleep. I think Glommer is allowed to sleep for the rest of his life. Regardless, you would rather err on the side of caution, so you can make sure to confine your agitated pacing to remain mostly unseen, and hopefully unheard. I don't want to kill Glommer, I want him to be okay. I know, I just wanted to have a funny little nap.
No, yeah, I don't know if you've seen the Volume 9 VOD pen, but no, Austin loves Glover very much.
Glommer's very good. He gets nappies, but forever. Oh my god. The back of your neck itches. There's no one in sight, either outdoors or at the windows. But you feel like you're being watched, trapped in a maze, albeit not the hedge kind. Doubt and unease have become your constant companions. Try as you might, you can't keep your thoughts from unfurling and catching on the scab of wounds both old and new. Your whole body protests as you beat a path against the hard ground, but the rhythm of it clears your mind and steals your resolve. You're so very tired. You're more tired than you can remember ever being. But you'll see this through. If there was ever a point you could give up, you've long since passed it. You must press on. And Glommer is your liaison with your next interviewee. You're starting to wonder if convincing Hamifi to let him leave early was even worth it when he's being so tardy. Perhaps you can just speed matters along and make your own introductions. Just as you spin on your heel for the 16th time, a familiar silhouette appears within your field of vision. Finally. Glommer's moving slowly as he approaches you, wobbling from one leg to the other so severely you're worried he's going to topple over you before he reaches you. If he were anyone else, you might wonder if he was inebriated. As it is, you mostly wonder whether he somehow managed to fall asleep walking. Give it up for him! Yeah!
Give it up.
I really wish I had a studio applause noise because I would play it right now.
Smash Brothers Melee shearing noises.
I can do one thing from Smash Brothers Melee right now.
Amazing! Incredible!
That was not it. It was a new record. His eyes are open though. He walks up to you and blinks blearily. You're late. Pleasure to see you too. Wait, no. Yeah, no, that's it. Pleasure to see you too, Chief Regulator. Trust me, if I had any sort of decision-making power down there, I would have been here on time. Turns out even with the extenuating circumstances, I just could not get the boss lady to let me off the hook. You feel a pang of sympathy at that, mixed with annoyance. Perhaps it really wasn't his fault that he didn't get here sooner. You're pulling strings with him if you only managed to get him a half shift off, though you're hardly surprised she kept him any longer anyways. You wish she hadn't made you wait, but you do not have the privilege of being frustrated with her. The purpose here is quite clear, and you've loitered long enough. Shall we head in? Yeah. It would be great if you could finish your investigating before the rest of the boys got here. By the way, thanks. Right. Glommer made a point of informing you about him and Krydom's evening plans. All the more reason to keep this visit brief. He trudges towards the entrance and you follow along. While he fumbles with the door, he begins, unprompted, to relay you to why he didn't make it to your meeting on time. His words wash over you, though any meaning becomes lost as they blend together into a crackling static noise. Uh-oh. No. Uh-oh. You're so very tired. You can feel the beginnings of a headache, but you rub the bridge of your nose and focus on the matter at hand. Amon Zimot. Noxious. You're getting close now. You must get his location, and Glommer's made sure it has the necessary expertise. You need to convince him to help you by whatever means necessary. A story is a heavy thing. Perhaps it's been unkind to place the brunt of its weight on a singular pair of shoulders. Let us have someone else share the burden once more. Yo!
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty pog. Okay.
Yeah. Shoutouts to Leon, the one who was the main writer for this round, for coming up with the perspective shift here.
Yes. Yo, Altchu, how's it going tonight? It's good seeing you. How you doing tonight?
Whooshu! Hi!
Welcome.
Kaitem!
Crichton!
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Alright. And now this is where I take over.
Go right ahead. The show is yours.
Alright. Your name is Crichton Lydian, and you're waiting for your mate spirit to come home. You're sitting on your desk, making good use of your day off by catching up on the latest news and rumors surrounding your favorite media franchises. Your elusive purrs away in your lap. Currently, you're perusing some articles on Polyhedron, your go-to website to keep up to date on all things anime.
God.
Some leaks of dubious veracity suggest that Araki is considering a return to an older form, away from the hyper-intense and intricate battle formulas the show is now infamous for. Purists are getting to heated arguments over the absence of the power grades that so closely resemble Repeton's arcane myths, in yet another brazen universe-shifting installment. You roll your eyes. Honestly, people will get so mad over every potential creative decision. It's not like these sudden pivots have always been a part of the show or anything. Anyway, anime opinions aside, work has been even more hectic than usual, with long hours spent at corporate trying to stay ahead of deadlines that never seem to stop multiplying. Not that you aren't grateful to be entrusted with more responsibilities, far from it, but it's also meant you often come home long after Glummer's left for work. You miss him. You've been trying to schedule more time to spend together, but both of your jobs, it's kind of a hellish task. Tonight, though, you'll finally be able to meet up with him and the rest of the boys. You're going to watch some anime. It's something you've been really looking forward to. Just as you glance at the clock on your screen, the soft click of the door unlocking comes from the hallway. The familiar accompanying rumble of Glummer's voice pours into the unit and settles like a ball of warmth inside your chest. Playcat doesn't wake up, but her pouring grows louder. Another voice slices through the room, clipped and sharp, quiet but authoritative. Playcat sits up with a start, then hops out of your arms. Hey! She dashes at the corner of the room, her tail standing at attention as she looks around, tense. You guess you really can't blame her for being wary of strangers. You stare at her for a moment, all too aware of the absence where her soothing weight was just moments ago. Then you stand up and move to greet your guests. Glummer told you about the chief regulator who wanted to speak to you. She was working on a case, he said, and needed some help that you might be able to provide. You agreed, partly because it would mean Glummer could get off work early, but partly because it didn't really seem like you had the option not to. From what Glummer has gathered, she was pretty firmly set on it, and saying no to a determined regulator doesn't tend to be the best idea. It'll be fine, probably. You just answer her questions and help as much as you can. Afterwards, you'll be free to spend a relaxing evening with Glummer and the others. You shake the apprehension out of your head and wander into the hallway.
Really quickly here before I read, I just want to say, Alodestus, it's good seeing you again. How are you doing tonight? I hope you enjoy making some of that good soup. You gotta share it with the class.
Hell yeah.
Second, Ezreal, it's good seeing you. It is. Oh my god, this is the volume is for full of gay people.
Yes.
I fucked that up so badly, it's fine. Good, I can't believe I let this last stream. It's a-okay, don't worry about it. It's good to have you here now.
Yeah. Also, yes, Split went so freaking hard on Crichton's theme.
I won't lie. For the past week, since we did Volume 9, I have been on a Split binge. I've been listening to his music, I wouldn't say non-stop, but like, I will probably spend like at least a solid half an hour each day listening to his backlog. It's She does such good music. Shouts out
I
to
agree.
Shouts out to Split Suns.
Shoutouts to Splitted Suns.
So true. Want me to get you some slippers or something? It's fine. Thank you. The chief. Oh.
Chief Regulator looks like how her voice sounds. Stern and put together. Her jaw is set in a tight line as she surveys the interior of your hive. Shouts to this background, by the way. Shouts out to Charlie for drawing this.
Shouts out to Charlie.
When her eyes meet yours, there's an intensity in them that's almost scathing. Your gaze darts to the floor.
You'll cry.
He pats across the floor to your side to kiss your cheek, and you can't help but smile. Hi, Chloe. Welcome home. It's your favorite time of the day, especially now that you've been able to spend less time with Glomer. The laid-back, comfortable affection between you always puts you at ease without fail. Lacing your fingers with his, you look at the Regulator again. Hi, Chief Regulator. Glomer told me you wanted to speak to me?
Cecily's fine. And yes, I need your assistance with the case I'm working on. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me.
Sighs to Glomer scoffs under his breath. You're clearly not the only one who didn't think he had a say in the matter. Despite that, you try to pull out a smile on your face. The Regulator, Secily, seems polite enough, and you don't want to be rude to a guest. Of course, I hope I can help. Should we go to my office to talk?
That's an excellent idea.
You turn to look at Glomer and... oh, he doesn't seem super great. The bags under his eyes are even bigger than usual, and his skin looks pale and dull. It's a bit concerning.
Did you want me to stick around and cry? Fair warning, though, I'm not going to be very good company.
He blinks so slowly you're unsure if he's going to open his eyes again for a second. It won't be the first time he's fell asleep standing. You give his hand a squeeze. It's okay, Glow. You should get some rest before the others get here.
Are you sure?
You lean in and give him a peck on the lips. A little smile lights up his tired face and you feel a burst of joy. I am. Don't forget to set an alarm.
Cecily, come on! Let the gay people be gay. You're gay, bitch! I love the...
Gay people?
I can't believe Cecily's the first gay homophobic troll. God. Okay. I'm gonna go crash then. Shout if you need anything, alright?
You smile and give him a nod. With a soft grunt, he lets go of your hand and heads for the respite block.
See ya, Regulator.
He's walked through the door before she can respond. She stares at him for a moment, one eyebrow raised, and then focuses on you again.
Shall we then?
Yes, this way, please. I just want to say the little pictures in the background here. They're so cute!
They are very good. Oh, I just love them holding their little gay hands. That's really sweet.
Yeah. Alright, and now the background that I drew that I went crazy for.
You went so hard on this. I remember when you first showed this off, it was like, oh my god. These last 3 volumes, the backgrounds you have done, you've gone so insane for, actually.
I have. I have went crazy.
You really, really did.
The boys shaking my fist. Yeah, I think about the boys so much.
I love that there's a dynamic like this. I really, really do. It's so sweet.
Alright. Sippy.
Take your sippy. Imiku Hatsune, my beloved. Good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, You go on.
I was just gonna say, I'm surprised that she's just not Hatsune Miku, because wouldn't she be famous enough to get around the conventional troll names?
I don't know.
No, she's an oh, wait, hold on, the Vocaloid. Wait.
Yeah, Ezreal made a Miku troll descendant, I guess, and then his ancestor is Hatsune Miku. And
That's
then I was like, hey, Ezreal, guess who I put in Kratom's route?
that's so funny. That's so funny. Oh my god.
Because I was like, Kratom would have a Miku Nendoroid, I think, a Miku figurine.
Yes.
Yeah, me Pokemon Tom messaged me about yes. Yeah. So like this background was like very much inspired by I actually took pictures of my dad's office to
Oh.
take inspiration from it. And also it took some slight inspiration from my sister's room, which had like a lot of like anime figurines and posters and such.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course the little blueprints there are just they're basically the blueprints of turrets and other machinery from Portal.
Yes, I figured. That's really sick. Also,
Yeah.
love me the Dr. Peeber in the bottom.
Dr. Peeper.
Dr. Peeber.
Yeah. Alright. Cecily follows you back into your office. You stop in the center of it and turn to her, suddenly unsure how to proceed. It's been a while since you last had a stranger in your home. Make yourself comfortable? You don't intend for it to come out sounding like a question, but it does. You try to bite back the embarrassment. You rub your arm. Cecily doesn't reply immediately. After another moment of silence, you pull out your chair and sink into it. Working at corporate, you've caught glimpses of some of the regulators, but you haven't had much cause to cross paths with them. Not that the chief regulator herself is standing in the middle of the office, you're struck by how well, out of place she looks. She looks something out of a story with the crisp angles of her coat and a visor hiding one of her eyes. A rapier epee hangs at her hip, and the pommel seems almost too shiny. You bought a replica sword at a convention once, but you have no doubt this one is a real deal. You don't envy all the trolls who found themselves a business end's weapon, though they must have deserved it. For sure. He doesn't know.
I know.
You realize you're staring, but Cecily doesn't seem to have noticed. She's scanning the room with her brow furrowed. Is something wrong? Her attention snaps back at you. A moment later, her expression clears.
Not at all.
She takes a deep breath and crosses her arms.
So, the purpose of my visit. I assume Glommer has already told you why I wanted to speak with you.
Well, he didn't know the particulars, so some extra context would definitely be nice.
Very well. Allow me to give you the lowdown.
You nod, and Cecily clears her throat before she begins to speak. She tells you about a stolen item and being tasked to retrieve it, and the person behind it all taunting her at every step. She speaks of cultists, hermits, and happenstances that are too convenient to be coincidental. Then she mentions a suspect who has a history of harassing trolls on the internet, and something heavy settles in your chest.
So, as I have been informed, you know your way around computers. I need your assistance in tracking down my suspect.
The regulator has concluded her story. You clear your throat, struggling to form words. You said this person has also, bullied other trolls?
Correct. He has a pattern of harassing vulnerable people into hurting themselves.
It sounds so matter-of-fact. The way she says it, simple, totally removed from the dread of seeing your oldest fears staring at you from your computer screen.
Oh no.
You grab your arm to steady yourself. Do you know what handle he uses? Cecily's eyes narrow at you, but after a moment she says,
He goes by an obnoxious antidote.
surely you've wondered what the consequences might be if your little secret came out. Your grip on your arm tightens. Ever since you blocked him, you tried to forget that handle. You've gotten better at it. Gotten better at not thinking about all that stuff in general, but...
Great. Okay.
Mhm.
You're familiar with that alias, aren't you?
It seems you don't have much of a choice in the matter right now. She's neutral when she says it, and if it weren't for the lock of her jaw, she might as well just be asking about the weather. You breathe out, remind yourself that he's got no power over you, and try to answer with the same ease. Yes, he's contacted me too. Suddenly, Secily seems to take up more of the room, her shoulders squaring, hands darting to the hilt of her rapier, and you realize she has more feelings about this than she lets on.
I assure you, no harm is going to come to you. Has he threatened you?
You hear yourself laughing to your own surprise, though there isn't any humor in it. You needed that kind of certainty when it was happening, but the only people you could rely on for it were those close to you. It worked out. No, don't worry about it. I'm safe.
Are you certain?
Yeah, the stuff he's gotten me doesn't affect me anymore. It's all in the past. You try to give her what you hope is a reassuring smile. You refuse to think about this now, about OA's threats in your life before Stronghold 21. Not today. You're looking forward to today. Don't worry about seeing me, Secily. She stares at you for another beat. You glance away, wishing that she'd drop it. But she doesn't say anything more, you change the topic yourself. So, you want me to track him down?
That's right. Can you do it?
She's back to business in an instant, with that same fierce determination from before in her eyes. You nod. I'll do my best. Your computer comes to life with a low whir when you move the mouse. A course of action is already charted out in your mind. You might have daydreamed about doing this exact thing before. It's a little exciting, honestly, like getting to star in a proper mystery show for an episode or two. As the thought pops into your mind, you feel Secily draw closer, peering over your shoulder. You force yourself not to flinch.
Hey, Cecily, ever heard of personal space?
She doesn't know!
I know, but like, come on. You don't just like creep up against someone while they're sitting in a chair. Come on.
Yeah, like, seeing Cecily outside of her perspective like this, like, for an extended time is very interesting.
It's very unique. I really like this.
Like, it really gives you, like, the idea of, like, why people are so awkward and kind of afraid of her.
Mm-hmm. Very true. She's a middle-aged cop, of course she doesn't. You got me there. Yeah, you got me there. His name is Amonsi Mont, and he's 8 sweeps old. Besides obnoxious antidote, he also goes by Noxious. His sigil is dissolved, if any of that is useful.
I was just going to use the messages he sent to me over Scorp to track his IP.
Oh. Very well then.
Cecily does not know technology.
She doesn't fucking know, and it's so funny!
Yeah. You boot up Scorp and navigate to the blocked user section, only hesitating for a second before you unblock OA. Your insides twist with apprehension, but luckily he's offline. Then, it's just a matter of popping open a few windows and putting a few lines so the loading bar appears on the screen. You lean back, brushing some hair off your face. So far, so good. In the absence of clicking keys, the room once again gets very quiet.
I'm surprised your neighbor is so considerate today.
Huh? Your confusion must be grinning across your face because she's quick to clarify.
Sabine. I came over to talk with him recently, and he seemed determined to tear this building apart with his music.
Oh, that little troublemaker. You've no idea what kind of business a corporate regulator could possibly have with him, but the comment makes you chuckle. You're really not too far from the truth. Sabine's a great kid, but, he really likes turning the volume all the way up. He casts an apprehensive glance at the ceiling, as if talking of Sabine might summon him. The ceiling remains blessedly silent. kind of makes living here a little difficult sometimes. I don't enjoy loud noises very much. Oh, sorry, I was like, I did the thing that you did, like, around the beginning, where I was waiting for you to read.
You're totally fine.
Cecily's mouth curves into something that's almost a smile and full of sympathy.
Yes, I know how that goes.
Her smile fucking hurts me.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. This is one of the only time. This is the only time I think we've seen Cecily smile, especially because we don't get to see her actual face like this. But like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
He's not home right now though, so don't worry about it getting loud anytime soon.
I'm glad to hear that.
You give her a smile before focusing back on the screen. As if on cue, the loading bar fills with a ding. It's been a while since you last did this kind of thing, but you quickly settle into a rhythm. The process is like assembling a puzzle, and now you have your pieces.
So, how does this whole thing work?
The sudden question gives you a start, and you turn to look at Cecily. She gestures at your workstation.
The method you're using to track a Munson.
Oh. This you can answer pretty well. It's pretty straightforward, really. I'm using the information that's already contained in the messages he sent me. See, because he has Scorp installed on his device, like a computer or a tablet, there's a direct connection I can use to find out where that device is. So when I ping it, I'm going to get an IP address that will correspond to his location. Cecily's giving you the full weight of her attention, which is kind of intimidating, but you can't tell from her expression if she's following. Does that, make sense?
Yes, I believe so. I hadn't realized tracking someone down on the internet was such a simple process.
Well, you wouldn't call it exactly simple. There's a bit more to it than that, but, I'm pretty good at this, I think. Also, it gets a lot more complicated for using a VPN or some other means to try to hide your location.
I see. You're saying a Muncie is using no such means?
He doesn't seem to be. You mentally scratch your head. With Oa's behavior during the few interactions he had, not having some kind of online privacy network does strike you as a little odd. Cecily seems to share the concern. She crosses her arms, looking between you and the screen with her eyes narrowed. You feel like you've done something wrong. Is there a problem, Cecily?
No, I suppose not.
Her consternated expression really doesn't make you believe her, but she speaks again before you decide whether to press it.
How long is this going to take?
Well, if it's not encrypted, it'll only take a few minutes, but... Yep, just as you expected. You close the error message. Yeah, seems that it's encrypted. Can't have it be too easy, I guess. You giggle, but the sound peters out almost immediately. You shift your attention back to the screen.
Does this mean we're stuck?
Oh, no, not at all. This'll take a bit longer, though. You go back to typing while you explain. I'm not about to give up so easily. Our program can run the IP through in order to decrypt it. It's, a bit slower, but it shouldn't take too long.
Got it. Thank you for the explanation, Kryton.
Sure thing. You go back to work. The measured, comforting click, click, click of the keyboard fills the room again.
Are all of these posters from cartoons?
I love that you can just, like, pinpoint, like, the exact moment that Cecily is, like, asking questions, like how she usually does in previous routes. Here.
Yeah, yes. One of the big things that I'm getting from this, and it's really fascinating as an autistic person myself, is just how hard it is to actually read Cecily. Like,
yeah.
like her expressions are so just deadpan Like, there's so little times that she expresses any emotion other than just this. So I feel so uncomfortable just watching her so emotionless, so cold. It's whack.
Yeah. You peer up from your screen, smiling as you try to see which part of your display she's looking at. It's the Utena one. She's got good taste. Oh, it's anime. Listener from series, and there are a couple of movies, too.
Animated ones?
Yes.
I see.
This isn't the first time someone reacts to your mention of anime like it's something to look down on, but it doesn't make it any more pleasant. People have no appreciation for Repeton's more independent media, you swear. Especially a series as underground as Utena. Cecily must have noticed your displeasure, because after a moment of deliberation she makes a peace offering.
What is your favorite, anime? This truly is a Cecily moment, and it's so funny. She's trying, and I appreciate it, but oh, Cecily. Yeah, she's definitely trying. It does not mean she's succeeding at all. God. Cecily, I love you, but in a black sense. You know what? Understandable. Okay, Grandma, let's get her to bed. Oh my god. She's gotta watch the 10 o'clock news before going to bed. Oh my god. Also, I do believe that right now we are in a pause because yeah, I believe we are in a need of a pause really quickly. So, with that said, God, I don't know. What's everyone's favorite anime here, actually? She's gotta check Facebook one more time first. Oh, God, I hate that you're right. Oh, dear God. Anime was 11. I've never heard of that one. Interesting. What is that one? I have not heard of either of these now. Saka Yakura. Saka Yeruse. I don't know if I've even pronounced that right.
Alright, I'm here now.
You're good. Don't worry, bud.
Alright, yeah, it's because I was being called down for, like, food and such, and I was like, oh god, okay. Alright.
Honestly, if you want to go down and get food, and then I will read for a bit, you can do that, bud.
No, I already got my food.
Okay, cool. Okay, sounds good then.
Alright. She says the word like it tastes weird. You appreciate her trying, though, and you welcome the opportunity to introduce another person to the magic of the best show of all time. Ah, it's absolutely revolutionary girl Utena. You point to the poster she was looking at again. A pink-haired girl holding another darker-haired one in an intimate, protective embrace. You get choked up thinking about all the symbolism of a fuchsia-blooded character rejecting tradition and fighting for what she believes in. You could talk about Utena for hours. You actually have. Glimmer can vouch for that. It's so good. It starts off kind of silly and whimsical, but it's actually a really thoughtful look into a lot of serious topics, such as agency and cycles of abuse. The cast is full of very interesting and complicated characters with complex relationships to each other, and the main plotline revolves around Utena and Anthe's love. The way that relationship that transcends quadrants is the axis the whole show pivots on is a bold choice that no mainstream show would ever risk. It's funny and weird and heartbreaking, and the story helped me through some hard times and made me realize a lot about myself. We're about to get into Utena's deconstruction of the prince role and its connotations as an allegory for gender, along with some very topical commentary on the Renaissance's social hierarchy. That's when you notice that Cecily's eyes have gone a bit glassy. Right. What are the chances a complete stranger would care about your passionate dissertation on a cartoon? You sigh and feel yourself deflating.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm rambling.
No need to apologize, Krytum. Thank you for indulging me.
Yeah. It's just a very good show. Her eyes linger on the poster for another second.
It sounds like one.
I'm not sure how sincere her comment is exactly, but with a small nod, you go back to work. I love Cecily just keeping everything she thinks to herself,
Yeah.
for better or worse.
Yeah, actually. Oh, God.
Another few seconds pass before Cecily speaks again.
Good news, everyone. The soup is delicious. Oh, you did just pour in a shit ton of salt. Jesus Christ.
Yay, soup!
Soup. Again, she's trying, but you are terrible at social interaction. I think she's the one who's bad at social interaction. Maybe Crichton... Maybe Crichton's I guess could be a little awkward, but no, it's definitely Cecily who does not know how to interact with normal people.
Yeah. And also just like, I mean, obviously Crichton is very much autistic with like the coding going on here.
Oh yes, very much so.
Actually, what am I saying? Why did I say coding autistic for Crichton? I literally made him, he's literally autistic.
Yeah, let's go! Glomer mentioned you had plans with the boys tonight.
With the way she says the name, you can tell she's capitalizing both words and none too happy about it. It's kind of funny how offended she seems by the moniker's existence. Ew, men.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Bekon and Dari, I believe you met them. You know for a fact she did. Both of them told you and Glomer about their very different experiences with the Chief Regulator. Cecily's fingers swish towards her rapier again. You think it's safe to say she's now remembering one of those encounters very fondly. You think about the cut on Bitcon's neck and swallow, your mouth suddenly dry. He downplayed the situation at the time, but even sheathed, the blade makes you uneasy. We try to spend as much time together as our jobs, and, well, everything else allows us. Her expression softens, encouraging you to keep going. Even if it's just washing some stuff together. I think it's good to have this tradition, if that makes sense. Work is stressful for all of us, and you've seen how Glomer is. You hope he's having a good nap. Cecily shifts her weight from one foot to the other, and her eyes dart to the door. Is something wrong?
Not at all. I'm just sorry for intruding on your evening plans.
You try to smile at her, but it feels tacked on and forced. It's not a problem. I realize that it's, an important case. You only get a non-committal hum in response. The silence that follows doesn't help the awkwardness. It's fine. You only need to wait for this to finish decrypting.
Glomer is your mate spirit, correct?
Yeah. Despite the circumstances, this is a topic that perks you up right away. You feel your face splitting to a smile. We moved in together a couple of sleeps ago because we figured it'd be easier to make time for each other if we shared a living space. It's been really good. It's nice to be able to come home to someone. You decide to venture a question of your own. It's only polite, right?
Uh-oh.
What about you, Cecily? Her expression drains of all warmth.
I live alone.
Silence falls over the room once again. You're not really sure what you did wrong, but there was an invisible line and you crossed it. The air is heavy with something you don't quite understand. Yeah, this moment hurts me so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, boy.
But you do get loneliness, you think. You didn't have anyone to come home to when you first moved into the stronghold, not even Platycat. You tried to fill the emptiness with work and your hobbies, but you're drifting. It took time to find something to anchor you.
Crichton.
Cecily's staring at you with an expression you can't read. You feel yourself tense up. Yeah?
You mentioned that Amamsi.
Omsi.
No, I was just pausing there.
No, I'm just like correcting, like it's Omsi.
Amsi. I'm so sorry.
No, it's
I
okay.
don't know. Yeah, Amsi. You mentioned that Amsi had contacted you before. Does he have any information on you that I should know about?
This again. As helpful as you're trying to be, you don't appreciate the line of questioning. No, it's old stuff. It doesn't matter anymore. You say it with more conviction than you feel, but it still doesn't seem to satisfy her. Cecily sighs.
I apologize for pressing on this, but it is my job to protect people, and I believe Amsi is dangerous enough to warrant a certain level of caution.
You cross your arms against the frustration that builds up inside you. I'm not underestimating how dangerous he is, but I can deal with this. It's private. Cecily's considering you as if looking for a weak spot to strike. You have nothing to deflect her next blow with.
Oh god, I've had a realization.
Yeah?
Cecily's a manipulator.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh
Yeah.
no. I've just literally reading this from the other perspective has made me exactly pinpoint the way manipulators work. And this is horrifying. Oh
Mm-hmm.
god.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. I'm having a moment over here. Oh, okay. All right. Are you confident enough to endanger your loved ones too?
You open your mouth to retaliate, but any arguments you might offer are overpowered by the thought of Glomer, of Bikon and Dari coming into harm's way because of you. It doesn't matter if the risk is small. If something were to happen to him that you could have prevented, you don't know how you could live with yourself. You can tell by the look in Cecily's eyes that she knows she's won. Your shoulders slump. Alright. It's it was about my ex Moirail. We we grew up together. For the longest time I felt like he was the only person who really understood you. You squeeze your elbow and rub your arm. All these sweeps later is still so clear in your mind. You didn't have elusives growing up, so for the most part, it was just you and him, and the way he listened to you made you think he cared. At some point, he started to get jealous when I'd meet other people and tried to make me spend time with him instead. Muriel should confide everything in each other. He said that often, even as he started to talk over you, make decisions for you, disregard your boundaries and get upset when you pointed it out. It made you feel like you were losing your mind. You pick up a marker on your desk and start twisting to cap this in that way. It got worse with time. You didn't realize how controlling he was until, well after it became a natural part of your relationship. You keep fidgeting with the marker. The cap makes a soft click as you open and close it. He didn't agree with the choices I was making for myself, I guess. I I think he was scared that if I changed, our relationship would too. He was right about that, if nothing else. It was so suffocating that part of me just wanted to just drop whatever we argued about when we did, every single time. It wasn't worth fighting with him. Cecily's quiet as you speak, but her features have softened to something like sympathy.
He doesn't seem like he was a very good Moirael.
You chuckle under your breath. That's the understatement of the Centenalia. He wasn't. You think back to the pressure he put you under, the constant arguments that came with him trying to make you do what he thought was right. How he tried to isolate you from others. At that point, you were starting to recognize the abuse, so you stuck to your guns as much as you could. You drew strength from wherever you could find it, and the stories told by shows such as Utna gave you the inspiration to fight back, as silly as that might sound for others. It took me a while, but I eventually broke up with him. You wrap your arm around yourself. Your hand clutches the marker so hard you can feel the grooves of the cap marking your skin. It hurts a little, but helps anchor you in the present.
It didn't go well, I'm assuming.
You shake your head. We had a fight. You told him about the things he had been doing wrong, why you decided you didn't want to be with him anymore. You tried to keep a level head and stay calm, but it mattered little. He said you were being unreasonable, blowing stuff out of proportion, that you needed him and you were making a terrible mistake. Not that anything was surprising at that point. You didn't know when it would be hard going in, but the conversation was nearly too much for you anyway. He had a way of getting under your skin. He almost convinced you he was right. Again. You take a deep breath and push your shoulders back. It got bad. I told him to meet me at the shore, but it ended up turning into a fight. It was your spot, before everything went south. You used to find it so calming. The sounds of waves crashing against the cliff. One misstep. He was so close to the edge and neither of you noticed. You let out another breath, but this one goes shaky. Click, click, the cabin marker goes. Long story short, I made it back. He didn't. Something in the water took him. That was the last time I ever saw him. You never looked back. You never checked to see if he made it out, but that's one uncertainty you're content to live with. You put the marker back on the desk. I moved out some time later, came to the stronghold. We're able to start transitioning then, and got Plague as emotional support Lucis. You glanced at her little bed by the wall and feel yourself smiling. In time you made some friends, met Glomer and the boys. You settled in. You don't have to wait if someone else's expectations bear down on you anymore. You meet Cecily's eyes and conclude your story. I'm trying to move on from everything that happened before.
An honesty is friend.
He did. Oh, sorry.
No,
I thought you stopped reading.
No. I fucked up the line. It's fine. An honesty friend to bring it all back into your life.
He did. He talked about my memorial and the stuff he used to say, and how I left him to die out there. That I betrayed him. But I didn't. I did what was right for me. The rest wasn't my fault. We were just teens anyway. It's not like I could have fought off whatever it was that attacked him. He's out of my life, and I moved on. I wish it had been like that exactly, but the people I care about know what happened, and they understand. So I told him honestly I wasn't scared of him. And that was that. Cecily's eyebrows arc.
He left you alone after that.
Yeah. I blocked him, he hasn't bothered me since. Much to your surprise, she smiles. Very subdued, but it's still there.
Thank you for telling me this story, Crichton. I'm glad you've been able to leave it in the past.
You try to return it, though it feels a little stiff. You don't think you're quite there yet. But you're trying.
This might sound presumptuous, but have you considered looking for a new Moirail?
Whatever sense of calm you're able to muster leaves you along with a sigh. You really wish people would stop asking that. I can't say that I'm interested. And honestly, it kind of annoys me that this is the immediate reaction I get most of the time. like I have to be looking for a new Moirael to comfort me or something. I'm not. I'm just talking about my experiences. I don't need a Moirael or ValantWynn, really, not after all that. Your indignation simmers down to a heavy feeling in your chest. You fiddle with the marker again, rolling it a little side to side. It's so frustrating, feeling like I shouldn't talk about this. Like I'm not allowed to share with my friends or my partner because it's some sort of burden, the kind of thing you're only meant to discuss with a Moirael. You sometimes wonder what it even means to be that to someone. Or that you've actually felt that way, that very specific sort of attraction toward anyone. It all seems a little arbitrary to you. You clear your throat, shelving your thoughts for a better time, and return your attention to Secily. I don't know. I'll figure it all out at some point. You will. You have to. A loud ding startles you. His backstory kills me.
That
Yeah,
is so much. Oh my god. Poor baby
yeah,
boy.
yeah, like, from, like, way before the production of this volume started, I always knew that his backstory was going to be involved somehow, uh, because it's, like, it's something that hasn't really been seen before in
Mm-hmm.
Vast. Like, yeah, there's been, like, manipulative and abusive relationships, but there wasn't really much discussion about, like, how abusive relationships can affect people.
Yeah.
Especially with, like, the whole nature of pale romance being the equivalent of therapists in this universe. And I have many thoughts about it, and it's like, man, that is, like, so fucked. Like, that is just, like, so fucked up
Mm-hmm.
that, like, I don't know, it's just, it's sick and fucking Twister. And it's like, but yeah, it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like, man, I wish I, like, you know, that these characters could get, like, help with, like therapy,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, that therapy is not a romance specifically.
No.
Yeah.
Repeton's relationship system is so deeply, deeply fucked.
Yeah.
Hate it. Hate it indeed, actually.
Yeah, like, I know that a lot of people, like, hyper-focus on, like, the bonding aspect of it and withdrawal and such. And, like, yeah, like, that shit is bad, obviously. But people don't really think about, like, uh, how pale romance is also really, really bad, too. Like, especially since, like, therapy, at least in our universe, like, it's not supposed to be romantic at all. It's supposed to be just, like,
Yeah.
positive but professional, you
Yeah,
know?
it's absolutely supposed to be professional. So,
Yeah,
can't hook up,
yeah,
can't divorce, can't go to therapy. You can't do
yeah,
shit on Repeton.
yeah. Alright. But yeah, shoutouts to, friggin' Leon for, like, really encapsulating his backstory and him telling it to Cecily this way.
Yes, big shouts out.
Yeah, and I did help out with, like, some, like, suggestions and such as well, like the whole, like, Crichton wishing that people stop asking if he's looking for a new Mariel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's like, that's also really important, where it's just like, sometimes people just, like, ask that about, like, relationships,
And it's fucked.
here. Yeah, it's so fucked, like, you don't need a relationship in order to be happy.
No, absolutely not, no. And anyone who says that that is the case is fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright. But we're not over yet, lads.
We're not over yet.
Oh, it's finished decrypting. You scramble to read the new notification on the screen. You're just about ready to have this entire thing sorted.
Is something the matter?
Well, this output it gave me, it's gibberish. I don't know what this is. You scroll through the file, hoping you might glean something, anything, from the incomprehensible string of symbols. You find nothing. The room suddenly feels very cold.
I see.
You hazard a look at the regulator. Her arms are crossed, frustration rolling off her in waves. She seems bigger somehow, like she's occupying more space and you need to cower away. You don't. You return to your computer and swallowing against the frantic beating of your blood pusher. This makes no sense. There must be something I could do with this output.
Yet another fool's errand.
Her voice is cold and sharp like the blade of a sword. No, there must be some way to...
To do what? I am a technological neophyte, Krytum. But even I know you can't access information that isn't there.
But it's got to be there because the front door slams open, putting a loud and abrupt end to your objection. There's only one person who...
What's up, boys?
Yeah. There we go. Bacon sure knows how to make an entrance. You don't realize how late I'd gone. I should... They... You trail off, gestures toward the door, and make a break for it.
Yeah!
Gay people!
Gay people!
Bacon and Dari make their way into the living room just as you do. Their arms are locked at the elbows in that easy, carefree way that seems to come so naturally to them. Already, you feel yourself relaxing.
Hello, Krytum dear. Apologies if me and Bite kept you two waiting.
Hi guys, I'm glad you can make it.
Did you doubt that we would? Of course we would make it over for boys' time!
Oh, I love boys' time. Gulliver pokes his head into the room, looking all sleepy, disheveled.
I'm gonna say something very cursed.
Okay.
I love Weezer.
Oh my god. I think so. I think people have made Weezer jokes about the boys because it's for them.
Good, good. Don't know why I thought I'd even need an alarm.
He eyes a yawn in his elbow and waddles into the room. And Dari steps up to greet him.
Oh, your hair is such a mess, love.
Hehe. Glummer's grumbling is cut short when Indari leans in for a kiss. He remembers something that you don't catch, flustered, as Indari fuzzes over the offending strands. You chuckle. The comfort of being around these three is a welcome relief after your tense interaction with Secily.
Crypto?
Speaking of which... The regulator stands at the threshold, glowering at him. The single word cuts through the air, sharp as a knife, and you realize you've taken a step back towards the others without noticing.
Ah, Miss Iopara. I didn't realize we had guests.
Bacon's smile has lost all of its warmth. He stares at Cecily with an edge that nearly matches hers.
Well, well, well. If it isn't our dear old friend Secily. Had I known we'd be keeping the company of our esteemed regulator, I would have dressed accordingly. Perhaps something serious, stern, and solemn, gracefully grave. An outfit befitting a matured individual such as yourself.
Oh boy. Cecily folds her arms in front of her chest, as if to ward off the bite of Bitcon's words.
Such a curt response to my amicable array of alliteration. You might hurt my feelings, Miss Iopara. That's a risk I'm willing to take.
You brace yourself for Bitcon's retort, already calculating the best way to defuse this, but He's turned to you instead.
May I ask what has won us this special guest appearance of the Chief Regulator herself?
Oh, that's right. They don't know anything, and they don't know about Cecily's visit, do they? You quickly explain the situation. The more you speak, the more worry takes over everyone's faces.
Oh, dear.
Bitcon folds his arms, his entire face scrunching up in distaste.
Utterly deplorable. Whoever we're dealing with here must think it's some sick party trick to toy with people's heads, like a third-rate caricature of a villain, exploiting people's fears in such a manner, as if we are all struggling enough at as it is. You act so surprised.
Your eyebrows shoot up as you turn to look at Secily. The overt hostility of her tone is enough to put you right back on edge, fiddling with the ends of your sleeves. You have a bad feeling about this.
Oh, a fight's about to fucking break out. Oh, God. I beg your pardon? I would assume you had a fair amount of exposure to such characters, considering your line of work. The psychology of our culprit might even be better understood through your expertise.
Bitcon opens his mouth to say something, then closes it again. The hand he normally keeps on his hip falls to his side, limp. All of a sudden, the room is very still. A cold feeling settles inside your stomach and you shoot a nervous glance at the Chief Regulator. The brewing conflict hangs heavy in the air. Your mind goes back to the sword at her hip.
What exactly are you implying here, Regulator?
You need to defuse this before it spirals off control. I'm sure she didn't mean to insinuate anything, right, Secily?
My apologies, Crichton, but I refuse to stand in the comfort of my trusted company and accept these accusations.
You don't have a counterpoint. So I turn to Secily again.
What do you take me for? Equating me to that monstrous behavior of some sadistic black hat? I thought you in particular might understand, Secily, that I am more than my business persona. And for you to compare my character to that of the prime suspect of your little case in front of the boys is quite frankly impertinent.
Secily scoffs. The temperature in the room has dropped below freezing.
Impertinent? You are going to talk to me about impertinence? After your little stunt you pulled last time? Actively obstructing my investigation? As though I'm trying to defend myself wasn't the reasonable course of action, given that you came to my workplace ready to accuse me of murder! I was doing my job to prevent more people from getting hurt, present company included, which is more than I can say about you. Now, hang on there. Am I understanding correctly that you would have me leave my life and dignity up to your discretion so you can enact your personal understanding of justice? It's part of my duty to determine and uphold the demarcations of justice. Yet I'm the one being called a criminal.
For a moment, the room's shocked into silence. Then, Cecily's voice lashes through it.
I would advise you to hold your tongue, Crypto.
Her hand comes to the hilt of her blade. Her hands are shaking, sirens scream in your mind. You know you had to do something, but you find yourself paralyzed, lost for words. Indari steps between Secily and Bitcon, resting a hand on his chest.
Chief Regulator, I refuse to let you threaten one of my partners. I think you need to leave.
She seems stricken. For a moment, like she wasn't expecting Indari's reaction. She blinks in surprise, then averts her gaze. Secily huffs and shakes her head and lets go of her sword.
Crichton and Glommer, thank you for your hospitality and your assistance. I hope you have an enjoyable evening.
I... I'll let you know when I manage to find out more about Anzi. The words tumble out of your mouth in a rushed mess. You're not sure why. An impulse to do some damage control, maybe? You mostly just want her out of your place. She nods.
Very well.
Without another word, the chief regular makes her way out of the room. Glomar and Indari step aside to let her through. Glomar staring at his feet, but Indari holds his chin high, watching her leave. A few seconds pass. The front door opens and shuts.
You really are a piece of shit, Secily.
Yeah! Cecily, you fucked up again.
So, that just happened.
You draw a long, unsteady breath. Your pulse still thrums in your ears. What a way to spend your day off. Glomar moves over to your side and rubs your shoulder. You let yourself relax into the touch.
You okay, Cry?
Yeah, I'm alright. What about you, Bitcon?
I will recover. I've learned to associate my run-ins with the chief regulator with a certain distress.
He's trying to brush it off, but he's pale and tense. Yeah, he looks fucking scared as fuck
Yeah,
when
no.
Cecily is trying to pull out his sword.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. One of his hands comes up to his neck, to the spot where Cecily injured him during their introductory altercation. Indari runs a soothing hand along his arms, and Bitcon laughs weakly. Smile!
His smile. Oh, I also want to kiss Bicon's face so badly. To think I tried to cooperate with her in spite of everything, because I believed it was the right thing to do. After I had my own bout of fun, of course. Tell me, did she treat you in such belligerent manner to Krytum?
No, it was okay for the most part, but she made me talk about my ex Moriel. I tried to tell her it was personal, but
Ah, I'm sorry, dear. That must have been quite upsetting.
just got me thinking again. I need to find a new Moriel and all the other stuff people assume, you know? And I must absolutely be looking for a replacement of this person who hurt me so badly. I almost died. I can't even tell what was worse. The way he treated me or the aftermath of everything. I feel like maybe it was my fault, like, if I only been to blame on Moirail.
Seriously? Fuck that. None of that bullshit was your fault.
It was so hard to learn to believe that, especially when I keep getting that reaction. And, like, I managed to move on, but just how many people are stuck in similar situations, just accepting mistreatment because they're soulmates who are meant to be whatever. And even if they do leave, like I did, the systems that are supposed to support them are just a clusterfuck of bureaucracy.
Quite so. All the requirements to qualify for a temp are ridiculous.
Yeah, especially if you don't experience withdrawal. It's great to be made to feel like your pain doesn't matter because you've never bonded. Honestly, I was so lucky to even be able to get Platycat. You push your glasses up to rub your eyes. You're surprised you don't have a headache yet. I don't know, I just wish things were different.
Tell me about it. We both ended up screwed in the Moirail department, didn't we? You're so sweet to me, Glomar.
Glomar pauses and rolls his eyes, slowly and poignantly in Andari's direction. It only makes him giggle.
with my previous Moirail before Andari's presence illuminated my sorry excuse for her life and restored my yeah, I'm gonna try that one more time. With my previous Moirail before Andari's presence eliminated my sorry excuse for her life and restored my belief in Moirail's. Anyway, funny how you can have this person who's like, yeah, I'm always gonna be there for you and help you. And the next thing you know, they're just like, I'm just kidding, I'm not gonna do that at all. Actually, also, fuck you. Like, I thought that was what commitment meant. But I guess not, the fuck not. Care, supportment, and understanding? Nah. I get divorced instead. Very cool, very helpful. Guess you're too busy having fun with all your cool new friends in some sloppy paradise. It's not like you ever really cared about my feelings. Glummer, darling. Fuck, I just needed him to be there. Plant plague or not, I would have been fine. Whatever. I'm over it. Not gonna lie though, still drives me mad that I showed him a part of myself I'm not proud of, and his response was to get mad and leave. What's wrong with me? Wow. Even my fucking cast won't stop giving me shit. The fact that Amifi hasn't tossed me out yet is a fucking miracle. They treat me like I do everything wrong. I'm so tired of those uppity assholes. Excuse me of my Jade Blood family. God, when do I just get to be me?
Seeing Glummer like this makes your chest hurt. You wrap your arm around his shoulders, hoping that might convey some of the love you have for him. He plows his head against your shoulder with a sigh. And Dar moves closer to squeeze his hand, too.
I think I understand how you feel, Glummer. At least in part.
His voice is quiet, thoughtful. He seems to be weighing each word as he speaks.
Oh, the scrutiny is just exhausting, isn't it? It was nearly overwhelming when I was younger. The expectations and the demands. I tried to find a community where I could just run away from it. My hopes were thoroughly displaced, of course.
It's the worst feeling when you realize that.
Certainly. Not to be melodramatic, but it felt like my entire world was falling apart. Eventually I knew I had to leave. But I still carried so much guilt from wanting to, despite being sure it was the right decision for me. I've let go of that guilt now, but I catch myself sometimes thinking that maybe I was wrong. I simply was not good enough. You're more than good enough, and don't you ever forget that. Yeah, I don't say that lightly, but Baikon's right.
Bicon's grin is almost as bright as it usually is.
I am more often than you give me credit for. I am more often than you give me credit for. Okay.
I'm more often
yeah,
right.
Okay, yes, okay. My brain was like, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
I am more often than you give me credit for, my dear friend. I'd say don't let it get to your head, but
I think it's a bit too late for that. A ripple of laughter carries between the four of you, and a somber mood lights up. Your aches are still there, but they don't crowd the room like they did such a short while ago. Not when these three are there or are with you to keep them at bay. Cecily could never have a dynamic like this.
Cecily physically could not have a dynamic like this. Like, she's so genuinely incapable of this. At least at her current state of development, she is physically incapable of having any sort of like emotional breakthrough like this, and it sucks and it kills me.
Yeah. Bitcon claps his hands together.
In any case, I came here for an evening of companionship and anime. I want to enjoy the few things I'm lucky to have. Yeah, same. I lose my mind without you guys.
Daria's eyes soften with fondness. You feel a distinct sting in your own.
I appreciate your company more than I can say.
Me too. I was really looking forward to spending time with all of you. Bacon starts to say something, but the chime of his phone in his pocket cuts him off. A soft, vulnerable expression settles on his face. He casts a look around the group, biting his lip. You have little doubt about who's texting him. It's strange to see him look so uncertain, but given his circumstances, it isn't surprising. You hope he'll be able to tell them soon.
Oh, love. Why don't you answer Divino while we set up our movie? Bring us some drinks when you're ready. Yes, yeah.
Mikon nods and gives Zandari a kiss before he pulls his phone out. It's easy to fall into your usual rhythm here. Glomer sets up the TV while Zandari grabs some blankets and cushions for everyone you go find DVDs. Bacon's voice carries from the kitchen along with the sounds of glasses clinking. Some more of your tension melts away. When you sit on the couch with Glomer's head on your shoulder again, things are back to feeling alright.
Did someone request some refreshments? Yes, please, sweetheart. Maybe try using your inside voice for once while you're at it. Inside voice? I've got no such term in my personal dictionary. What, pray tell, does it mean?
You're giggling while Bacon distributes the drinks. He sits down next to Ndari, and then Glomer is reaching for the remote to start the movie. You kiss his cheek. So the episode we're going to be starting is another non-anime one. It's very heavy with the codependency themes again. It's also meant to parallel other relationships in the show, but I'll go into it after we finish watching. Cecily could never!
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. When we get to the tier list, every single one of the boys is gonna like, I think the boys just might get their own like tier on the tier list actually.
The boys tier list.
Literally the boys tier list, cuz holy shit.
Yeah. I'm really happy with that route. Leon, Charlie, Zero, and I all rode for that route, and we've all popped off with
You
it.
all went so fucking insane.
We did. We went friggin' insane from outline to final draft.
Yeah, what's up? What cue do you have to ask?
It's funny because, like, actually, yeah, I'll talk about it. Crypt's route was originally going to have a pretty different ending.
Really quickly here. My voice is alright. I definitely should take some sippies because I should do that.
Yeah, after all the reading of Bitcon and Dari and Glover.
And Cecily.
And Cecily. My voice is pretty alright. I'm all good.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, Crime's route was originally going to have a pretty different ending. Because originally, I think it was like, because originally it was supposed to be that Cecily stays with the boys and watches Utena with them. Like, you know, things were kind of alright. But then it's like, actually, maybe things should not end like that. That would be kind of, surprising.
See, here's the thing. I actually couldn't tell which way this was going to turn. Either Cecily was going to stay and watch with them, or she was going to leave. And apparently, she decided...
Gets kicked out.
Yeah, she really did fuck herself over this time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't think any of them are going to like. We know that eventually everyone has to go to the barn. I
Hmm.
I'm wondering how the fuck they're gonna deal with it because like she was at least on good terms with Andari and on neutral terms with Glommer, but now
Hmm.
she is basically cut herself off from people that could actually be good for her, and it's just like fuck,
Yeah.
for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I think it was Charlie who suggested that Indari be the one to kick her out of
No,
Krynos' apartment.
I love that. That works so well.
Yeah, it really does.
It
Like, it makes so much sense, and it really strengthens Indari's character a lot, in my opinion.
Oh no, like genuinely when she did she oh my god, excuse me. When he did that, when Indari stood up for BiteCon, I went in my head, "Oh, I have a new respect for Indari."
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Cecily, I don't know how much you have
Hmm.
you have dug yourself such a hole.
Yeah.
In the last like three, no, in the last four goddamn volumes, you have dug yourself such a big fucking hole. I just
Yeah.
you're not getting yourself out of this. You have,
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, yeah. Like, really, Cryonostra is like it's kind of a showcase of like Krytum and Cecily as foils in a way, in terms of like how they are with their relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Krytum is like he started out like in this abusive scenario that he left and he was like lonely for a really long time, but then eventually he found comfort and camaraderie in the boys, and that relationship between all of them is like it's like the healthy communication is just it's so good,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it. And meanwhile Cecily is like she had a great relationship, but then it was taken from her because of corporate, and then she's just gotten like so fucked. And like, aside from like Mishiri, in a sense, she's like truly alone in a lot of ways, and
She
it's so fucked.
I think what's also hits very hard about this is that she technically had Yenshin as well, technically, but now that she knows that Yenshin is in some way involved in this whole case, the fact
Oh,
here is that she has no Cecily has no quadrants. No,
oh,
no.
you think she knows right now?
I thought at the very end of. No, you're right. Oh, she doesn't. Oh
Yeah,
no.
Mishiri, it's like
It's.
she doesn't have the heart to tell Cecily
Oh
that that
shit.
Yeshin might be the one. Yeah.
Oh no. Ha. Good. Great. I. So Heian.
That's so high-end.
Hi,
Hi.
Hien. Oh my god. I can't.
I'll read for the narration.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
All right. You had a sigil. Now you have a name. What you currently lack is a solid and complete plan of attack. Many possible strategies cross your mind, looking at the play pieces in play. Where is Zomsi? What defenses does he keep? How exactly was the filter stolen? And just how many accomplices stand between you and him? And there is also the pressing mystery of the insider who sold the route data to him in the first place. You don't know what you do if you found that particular individual. These steps have brought you to a barren Rabertonian mall, where you walk along narrow alleys towards your primary destination. Graffiti is sparse but apparent, the shops and stores having been built on top of much older ground. In particular, you're passing through a small indoor park, the kind that the higher-ups love to include in so-called rebeautification projects. One of the shrubs squeaks as your leg drags along its plastic surface. How beautiful. Beyond the half-broken walls of the mall lies a barren domestic block. Once these rooms may have held promise of a growing civilization. Now, most are empty, abandoned, of both trolls and hope alike. This place has clearly seen better days. Stars twinkle against the black of night, peeking between whatever sparse roofing still remains. Every step you take echoes around you, but otherwise, they ring unaccompanied. Occasionally, some drunk troll stumbles out from a parlor. A couple speeds up as they stride past, heads bowed in a feeble attempt to obscure faces you've already memorized at a glance. They know who you are. They know what you do. You walked the streets of the stronghold plenty on your own. Why should now be any different? Sure, Necron has been a good help so far, be it fighting cultists back-to-back, searching out a mysterious rare clues through a maze of hallucinations, or finding a satisfying sigil breakthrough. You definitely wouldn't be where you are without a metallic hand from him. But the executive's words ring in your mind. About loss, about pain, about your duty. You don't want to put Necron in that line of fire. Your corporate's finest regulator. You will Proserpina a blade of with a burdensome with yet though storied past. Case after case has been managed with precision, dedication, and discipline. Each time, you brought justice and retribution to this fractured world. Suspects interrogated, informants pursued. Your sword has sliced down every criminal entity who's dared to push their luck. And each time, you have done it alone. So, yes, you put him from your mind, returning to the lone clack of feet against the path and jostle of your scabbards against your hip. Like you said, you put him out of your mind. Okay, where were you? Right, the reason for your visit. You turn a card between your fingers, gifted to you early on in the case. While you've exhausted most of your leads and had a number of positive breakthroughs, there's a tantalizing thread you've yet to follow. You're searching out a particular weapons specialist in the area, High-End Rafero. You should be approaching her shop any moment now. The lack of foot traffic makes for an opportune moment to recall the information you gathered before setting out. Recall, High-End Rafero. She's on the file as being an adept gunsmith with a history of selling to regulators. Some of your contacts, and those contacts' contacts, highlighted other clients of hers may be more dubious, shadier. If you get the chance, you won't hesitate to dig a bit more into those rumors. Brushing aside their nature, having contacts in that space could always provide a possible link to Omsi and his whereabouts. Regardless, many of your peers have claimed her work is of high quality, and at least 2 of them swore the arms she crafted have no equal in Stronghold 21. You want to ensure you have the right weaponry to take on this troll and whatever else he might have up his sleeves. But you have to admit, you're also interested in her apparent problem-solving skills. Ripide claimed she was good at puzzles. It's time to see just how good. You come to a stop at a rather conspicuous storefront. There's a modest sign above the doorway. Gunhilder. To be honest, after experiencing places like the headache-inducing Currency Dome, something more down-to-earth and humble feels very reassuring. The plain door swings open easily enough. Your hand hovers at your waist as you enter. Caution is key, as usual. Shoutouts to Eddie and Lupa for this.
Yeah,
Eddie,
big shouts out. This is really good.
yeah, Eddie did the line art and Lupa did the colors, and I
Hell
believe
yeah.
the guns as well.
Yeah, those guns are pretty fucking good.
Mm-hmm. A quick scan of the room reveals little of the ordinary. From your vantage point at the front of the store, the checkout counter is immediately to your left. Weaponry of various shapes and sizes sits behind the glass. Still to the left is an even more impressive wall of firearms. You're beginning to see some of those fine details and handiwork that so many of your peers have raved about. To your right lies a more eclectic mix of furniture. Some basic shelves displaying discounted wares in a small area with an interesting arrangement of seating, games, and puzzles. A chessboard lies dormant in clear view, the pieces abandoned mid-game. A shame, you muse. Black could mate in 12 moves. Straight ahead are several rows of ammunition, a collection of gun mods, individual components for repair, and so on. You also catch some workbenches in the back, but hide the aisles make it difficult to see too far on either side. Suddenly there is motion from the middle of one of the rows. It seems you're not alone. Your hand carefully shifts from poise to gripping your handle as you take a defensive stance. The interloper moves into view and you slide the blade from its sheath. If the dim lighting makes the shadow difficult to discern at first, then the voice removes all doubt.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Oh my god, it's been months. It's been months. Hang on here, I gotta think about this.
Yeah!
Regulator Iapara!
On second thought, maybe today is a bad day.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, Cecily. Today's a good day.
Sis, today's my second fucking birthday because like I'm getting all my favorites right here, right now. So like I'm pretty fucking satisfied.
God, you love the blue guys, do you?
When you've put it like that, I guess.
In one fluid motion, you sheath your sword and turn on your heel, back toward the door and your hopefully quick escape. Oh, great. Just what I needed today. Is there a problem here, Regulator? Of course. Why would it not be both of them? Staying between you and your hoped-for exit is none other than Siraj Filtry. Defeated and resigned to your fate, you turn back to face the excitable entrepreneur behind you.
Regulator, you just got here. No need to leave so soon. Why don't you sit down so we can have a nice, friendly chat?
Do you realize how dangerous it is to startle a chief regulator like that? I was moments away from introducing you to Proserpina. You tap your hip lightly, the sword swaying from the touch. Ripe laughs with just a hint of nervous energy, but still extends his hand. Not to you, mind. To Proserpina. You grip your most treasured weapon defensively.
Well, shucks! She can join us too! It's been forever and a half, Regulator. There's much to discuss. I can't tell you how glad I am you're here. I was starting to wonder when you'd follow up on my recommendation.
Yes, well, time and place for things and all that. Doesn't that sound familiar? There are two trains of thoughts running parallel through your mind. The first is searching for literally any way out of this social encounter. You're starting to feel nostalgic for the days where you could just shoot a window and lie through your teeth at the person on the other end of the phone call. No. You need to grit set teeth and don your grown-up blade. You can't leave, not unless you want your trip to be for naught. The other train of thought ricochets right off the first one, and you start scanning the environment for Refero. Siraj notices. Ripite doesn't.
How's the case going so far? Oh, shoot. Is that open for discussion? It's not like I'm blowing your cover, am I?
Everyone present has been involved at some point. Or at least they will be, provided they show up soon. Ripite wipes a pretend bead of sweat from his brow in relief. Despite your efforts to hammer the point high, the fact you're looking for Refero seems to soar over his head with flying colors.
It's been real quiet ever since you left the office, let me tell you. Day in, day out, record a podcast episode every week, design new scarf themes, and not hide nor hair of dramatic robbery.
I'm sure you have more important things than my case to be worrying about. Was that slash your crush was sent back when you tried to help me out? Siraj perks. Oh wait, no, right. I am reading the narration.
I'm there. You're good, bud. I am patting you in the head. Hey, no problem.
Alright.
If you do need to switch out to me doing narration, just let me know.
Okay, alright. Siraj perks her brow. You'd be surprised. Celestial Crossroads hit the deadline running because we're good at our jobs, as a matter of fact. So you are capable of showing up to work without a hangover.
You are trying to burn every fucking bridge today.
Yeah, Cecily's so fucking mean.
I will kill Cecily myself at this rate.
Ripite's eyes go wide as dinner plates, while Sriracha's turns cold. Looks like that struck a nerve. I'm working on it. Ripite jumps into the conversation with all the grace of a panicking Lucis, taking a step closer to you. A move to take your attention off of her if you had to guess.
And work on it we did! Celestial Crossroads went splendidly, and has already paid the groundwork for a wider branch of related themes. And that's smack bang in the middle of keeping the apartment clean and tidy. Clean lands, happy pants. You find the darnest things once you get your elbows dirty. Just the other night I found one of those, oh shoot.
Smooshums. I think we should maybe pump the brakes a little. We're walking circles around a dead Omen Schroeder.
Oh!
Her attention turns to you, and you can feel how much sharper her eyes are in your direction. I'm guessing you're looking for Rafero.
I think Siraj is allowed to be mean.
She is allowed.
God. Ah, that makes sense! That makes a lot of sense! He's in the back, working on the inventory.
He? Rafero's records told you otherwise, but so did yours once upon a time. You believe everyone deserves a chance to, at the very least, try it out and see how it feels. Although you can't update records for him, at least of all while on a job, you make an underlying mental note all the same.
Hey, Hyen, you got company!
That's the kindest thing anyone said about you today. From the door in the very back of the shop emerges a person who clearly means business. It's about time you met someone with an actual sense of professionalism around these parts.
You arties!
You be arties!
Okay.
You want me to...
No, I got this.
Okay. You got this.
I
Show
got
me what
this.
You got.
What's the situation, right, Bite?
Your eyes meet, and you can feel the temperature in the room drop. Strange. Rafero. He spends a good long while looking you up and down, as if searching you for a weapon. You know, in a gun shop.
Particularly a graphic set of opening moves, regulator. Though, that's in keeping with your reputation, I suppose.
And people say your social skills could use some work. Against less skilled players, such a gambit is a natural first move. Before you can bite back at him, Ripite once again dives between the two of you.
Oh, you've heard regular Ayapara? Gosh, it's a small world, huh? Makes it easier to join arms around it, as they say. Do you know that she loves chess, just like you? I gathered you picked up the hobby.
Feeling is mutual. You cast a glance back at the chessboard, but you have more important matters to attend to than visually reinforcing your comebacks. Okay, great. Both Sherlocks are on observation enhancing seltzer and know everything about each other immediately. You pay Sirage's a muttered remark no mind. This isn't some kind of fluff and filler friendship adventure. You open your mouth to get to business.
Now, what were you saying earlier? About what you're doing?
And the businessman is immediately notched from your investigation sales. It seems he won't take no for an answer. Fine. Maybe some lighter conversation will ease Rafero out of his shell. He's awfully quiet over there. Let's see here. How do you know each other?
Hey, and I am Moirails.
I know. You said as much on the business card you gave me. You guess he'd forgotten, if the look on his face is anything to go by. Mind if I ask why you did that, honey drop?
I'm pretty curious myself. Well, why wouldn't I want people to know that I'm the luckiest show on Repeton with filled quadrants I have?
Siraj gives him the most affectionate eye roll you've ever seen. Gosh, this man can be sickeningly sweet. Even Hyan cracks a smile. That wasn't exactly what I meant, for the record. Don't worry, I'm sure you get your answers soon enough. Siraj is privy to your knack of muckraking, after all.
So, it all started when Siraj and I moved to good old Stronghold 21.
Or a right pike could just willingly spill more than his fair share of beans, that too. At any rate, she definitely saw his eager participation coming, with the way she jumps right into the expository monologue sidecar with her mate Sprit. For context, before this, right pike was always carrying around this plastic ray gun from some cheesy sci-fi flick or another.
Buck Rogers in the 362nd Centennial, to be specific.
I don't see the issue. In his strife deck, I mean. So I told him to ditch replica, as sentimental though it might be, and pick up a real gun. You know, so he doesn't immediately kick the shitter the first one he engages in real Mortal Kombat with someone.
Guns and bullets do tend to be more effective than for self-defense. And self-defense only, mind you.
You feel as if that remark may have been directed at you.
Yeah. I always trade first-timers buying from my store. You don't bother learning how to use it properly, you don't get the gun. That's my code of conduct. He helped me pick my gun out and taught me everything I know. From there on, we just really hit it off, I guess.
You glance towards Siraj, which she takes as a sign that you're asking about her story as well. Me, met him through association. At least she's brief. Discuss games of the chess variety. I see your board back.
Duplicity!
Rodpike cuts you off the snap of his fingers and a metaphorical light bulb behind his peat marbles. Hyan looks a little taken aback by the sudden outburst, but he doesn't so much as budge. Even more curious, he doesn't question a man like you've made a habit of doing since your formal introduction.
2 letters too long.
What? You're still on that? It seems you're the only one not in this particular loop, which absolutely will not do. And what, pray tell, would that be? They've been trying to fill out one of Hyan's crossword puzzles for the last hour or so. Had no clue it was still burning the back of Pike's head till like 5 seconds ago, but what are you gonna do?
You're on the wrong ballpark, though. Good guess. Two-sidedness starts with a D, ends in a Y, 7 letters. Boy, I'm practically on the tip of my think pan. Still a stumper all this time later.
Right Pike stews on it for a hot second before his gaze turns to you.
Any ideas, Regulator?
This is a pointless path of conversation to veer into. That being said, it's not like there's a part of you that isn't dying to flex your intellect. Do you attempt to help him out?
Yes.
Alright, what did Right Pike say? A word for two-sidedness starts with a D, ends with Y. All sorts of mathematical equations start soaring across your think pan synapses. The word must be...
Duality?
Yep.
Duality.
It has to be duality, right? Everyone in the room looks at you except for Hyan, who walks over to his desk and retrieves what you can only assume is a crossword question. Suddenly he jots it down. Right Pike mutters a
Score!
under his breath, eagerly holds his hand up high for a high five, which you ignore.
Oh, fucked up.
Siraj gives you the nastiest fucking stink eye you've seen in a while, but it takes more than a sorrow to intimidate you. He's just going to have to deal with it.
Okay. We'll take a rain check on that one.
Your standing with Hyan hasn't improved either, from the looks of things. It will be terribly inconvenient if that had any consequence to your mission. You didn't even get to ask your initial question, which you take as a sign that it just isn't going to happen right now. Not with Right Pike interjecting random conversation topics willy-nilly, shedding a couple more weeks off your lifespan at least. Nothing you're a stranger to anymore, but You don't quite feel like dropping dead just yet. By this point, Siraj is starting to look antsy, and Hyan flat out isn't talking at all. Currently, Raipai seems to be the only person in the room able to muster up any semblance of positive emotion. Height? Can I talk to you about something for a sec?
3-letter word. Affirmation. Starts with a Y. What's the situation?
With that, Siraj takes her matespert by the hand and leads him aside, speaking in hushed tones. Far too hushed for you to get a good grasp on their conversation, much to your chagrin. As you squint in their direction, Hyan stares you down. His silent gaze wordlessly accuses you of snooping. Listen, if they're not going to move into another room, you think that that's not the biggest crime? They are being all kinds of suspect right now.
I could kiss you!
You do. Frequently. With some kind of emotional second wind, the couple re-enters the conversation. I love them so much. I'm so glad we get to see them interacting.
Me too. Also, I moved the TV over just for them for a minute.
Oh my God.
And now Right Bite's a TV head.
He's getting Mike Wazowski'd.
I didn't mean to cover the boy, it was for the moment.
TV head, right, Mike?
Look, I think he deserves to be a TV head, at least in like some AU. I don't know.
Alright, have an honest discussion about your feelings.
Is this...
I thought I already read, this. What in the... No, I have a question.
Regulator, not to put a fine point onto it.
He doesn't finish his sentence, turns to Siraj with an uncertain glance. She nods, which seems to be all the information he needs.
But there's so much unbroken ice in the room that we're practically standing in the middle of a freezer. And there's no reason for that.
I can think of plenty, but go on.
Think about all the fun times you had with me and Siraj here. You were on my podcast, and you chugged her concoction like a total champ.
I don't recall recording a proper episode with you. You did chug the shit out my brew, though. Your tongue still tastes like cleaning supplies and gel ink every so often thanks to that. Before you can tell Siraj as much, she gives you a pursed-lip shrug that probably means something along the lines of, you get used to it. Point is...
Right! There's no reason to start off the wrong stew pod with Hyan. So I'd really appreciate if you two would let us do a little exercise together. There's an activity we do around the office sometimes.
Raipai fetches a small circular gadget from his Silodex, filling with some knobs in a practiced fashion before he also retrieves 4 retractable antennae. He holds them out and Hyan takes 2.
Right, Pipe. Are you certain about this? Trust me, it's a tried and true tactic.
And how could you say no to all that astonishing alliteration?
I love them so much.
With a 2-letter word that starts with N, if you had to hazard a guess. Raipai then extends to the other rods to you, and you couldn't have less of a clue on what's going on. Is he trying to probe you? No need to look so suspicious, Regulator. We're not here to fry your pans out or anything. See? Hyan's just fine. That doesn't make you any less skeptical, but you're supposed to just get into all sorts of tomfoolery around these people. Reluctantly, you take the remaining 2 rods.
By holding the antenna, we're able to monitor your inner weather. When I see a storm coming on my little display here, that's when we should take a second to collect ourselves. Deep breaths, in and out. Or however you calm down, as long as you avoid conflict.
This is like a freaking like conversation exercise that like elementary school kids do probably.
Oh, that's so funny. I was thinking of this like it's like this. I would think that like this is something like the sharing pillow or something, like where you have to pass it around for whoever is speaking.
Yeah.
You know.
Or just like, I have to stick, let me talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he serious? He looks serious. whimsically serious. Why is this necessary? I'm perfectly capable of functioning without all this monitoring.
If you're capable of functioning without monitoring, then you have no problem with eyes on you. I have no objections.
So be it. You know in storms to hide. Okay, Secily, sure.
Yeah, sure. Keep telling yourself that.
Alright, let me just eat this.
Camp counselor, right? Michael, then. Good, yes.
We all on the same page? Good. Take it away, right, Pite?
It's simple. You two take turns asking each other polite, friendly, non-case related questions. Get a conversation going. Rule run of chit chat. Don't just say yes or no. Let your words flow.
You wait for him to list off the other rules, but it seems like he's finished. Just one then. Alright. Fine. Let's get this over with.
That's the spirit! Hyan, why don't you start us off since you know how it's done? Very well.
You don't understand. Is this some kind of psychological test? Are you being profiled right now? Your temperatures are over, thank you very much. You might still keep in regular contact with Shuri, but that isn't the point.
Why are you looking for my services, Regulator? Are you after ornament for a particular reason?
I will not disclose case-related information to you. Not only is it sensitive, you're not meant to talk about it. Hyan won't be tricking you that easily.
Oh my god, Secily. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Not everything's a chess match, you piece of shit.
Yeah! Yeah!
It's okay. You don't need to give specifics, just let things flow. Like you're passing each other at the office monster boiler.
You take a deep breath, think back to all the times you passed one of said devices. It's a terrible example to give you because you're not a chatty person. You're a worker, first and foremost. You're sure this is far easier for someone like Raipai to encourage. Still, Secily Yopara won't be discouraged. I'm here to talk. Not necessarily by yourself, just talk, and peruse your wares. You're not in any trouble. Hyan purses his lips in lieu of any other gesture of affirmation. Good enough for you, you guess. Unfortunately, now it's your turn, and the gears in your mind start going to maximum overdrive. What the hell are you supposed to talk about with this person? Your eyes dart around the room, desperately trying to cling to some casual conversational topic, like a drunken troll grasping at a wet bar of soap. It's just guns. Guns as far as the eye can see. Gun here, gun there, gun, there's right by Siraj, gun, more gun. Time's running out, you need to make a decision. Gun.
Gun.
Do you like this job? Good enough. I love this moment so much.
Oh my god.
Gun.
Gun. I do. I'm quite fond of the intricacies that go hand in hand with the industry. It's like
Hi, Heather.
Yo, we got Heather in chat?
Yeah, we got Heather. I see them type gun.
Yo, how you doing, Heather? I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
It's like mechanical, engineered, poetry. Yourself?
My job is regular, you mean?
No. You a fan of guns? You appear to favor one blade in particular. Is there a firearm you hold in high regard?
Yeah, Hyan's quirk, before this route was being written, I did have to change it to this, because before, there used to be equal signs for every single space. But now it's like, yeah, that was not going to show up very well at all. So I did decide to put in equal signs, but only before, like, words that have O's in them.
Got it. Fair enough.
But yeah, I understand that it can be a bit tricky to read his lines.
Yes. Also, I really just want to quickly say here, I really wish that they didn't take away the feature in Twitch of chants, where you could just have a mod like set a word that everyone should chant at once. They took that away, because if I had that option, I would have everyone chant gun right now.
Gun!
Gun!
God. Wait, he gets asked 2 questions in a row? Why does he get to ask 2 questions in a row? That's not how it's supposed to work.
Easy there. There's no supposed to, Regulator Ayapara. The game doesn't have any hard rules. I promise you it's alright. The end result is more important about how we get there. Just ask as many questions as it feels natural.
Raipai shows some clear bias towards Hyan in your professional opinion, but there's not much you can do about that. Yes, I have a gun, but I will not be handing it over. Cecily is such a fail wife.
Cecily is the definition of cringe.
Cringe compilation. I did name one of Hyan's sprites. I believe this sprite right now is cringe.
Literally, oh my god,
Oh wait, no, not this sprite in particular, but...
Okay. Operation Snowbound Blood cringe compilation number 332 on youtube.com.
The entirety of Hyan's route is on there.
Yes, Jesus Christ.
Hyan cringe, yes.
Good. Hey, actually, while we're paused, I'm gonna quickly run to the bathroom, just very, very quickly.
Alright.
Okay, BRB, just 1 second.
Alright. So everyone, how has everyone been doing today? Hi Very. And hello to everyone who has been tuning in for the stream. Thank you very much for listening in on the stream. I also love my wife. Yes, every single day, Ezreal, I understand. Can I just say, Hyan's theme is a fucking banger. Shoutouts to Pragmatic Nihilist. Oh, well, this is not Hyan's theme, this is Siraj's theme, but, you know, both of them are slappers. Yeah, go get some freaking water. Everyone go ahead and hydrate right now. Yeah.
Okay,
hello.
Hello, I am back.
I was just talking to chat for a little bit.
No, completely fair. That's a very good TV, right, Dracoff? I will put that up on. Stream when we're finished with the route.
Yeah. All right. Siraj sighs loudly, like she's having to pick up your trash for you. Nobody's asking you for your gun, Regulator. It's all yours.
Hey, if we're showing guns, would you like to take a look at mine?
Raipai reaches for his shoulder for his holster. Sweeps of life or death situations send your think pan spinning. Everything happens in a second. Your hand hovers over Proserpina instinctively as you prepare to defend yourself. Hyan spots your movement, steps forward to shield his Moirail, while Siraj jolts to steer Raipai off his chosen path with panicked gestures.
I love how cat-like Siraj is right now.
Yeah.
It's not loaded! I'm sorry!
The four of you freeze in your tracks, staring at each other. It's so deathly silent you can hear your impulse thumping in your oral canals. Raipai is the first to move after what feels like an eternity and a half, slowly raising his hands up to show he's unarmed. Everybody then follows his example, returning to the civil stances from before. Part of you is surprised you kicked your back legs like that, given Raipai's track record being completely and totally harmless. You almost feel bad for really drawing your weapon on him. He should know better than to display that sort of conduct around Chief Regulator, though. That's on him.
Shut up.
I hate Cecily.
Jesus Christ. When I first read this text block, I went ahead and said to myself, oh, she's apologizing internally because that was fucked up of her. No, it's the other way around, because of course she's like this, of course. God fucking damn it. Of course.
She did say she almost feels bad for him.
Yeah. Right. Regulator, as you were.
Oh, great. It's your turn again. Your tactic from the last time seemed effective, somewhat, so you give environment scouting a second shot. You don't know why you expect anything different to jump out at you. Maybe the adrenaline rush Ripite just gave you behind your senses to make you spot the register. And another gun. People will buy guns. You are unbelievably shitty at this.
Jesus Christ, cringe wife.
So, do you have to deal with bad customers in this line of work? He's looking right at you, for some reason.
It comes with the territory. Working in any store is a magnet for the eventual run customer. Matter of fact, I had a real nasty one earlier today. Insisted I was overcharged and demanded to talk to the troll in charge. I am the troll in charge. She demanded to speak to my manager. I am the manager.
Did you try telling her you own the place? High-end size, but it's not directed at Siraj. If anything, he seems to welcome her dry sense of humor. I love how I drew a smile here.
Yes, it's so good. I really appreciate these two stopping by to keep me company. It's been one of those days. Still is, admittedly. I'm sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing for jumping the gun. Why is Ripite smiling? You just said sorry for jumping.
I see what you did there, sharpshooter!
Ah, you also see now. Pun not intended.
Yes,
I
do in fact know who wrote this route!
Yep.
God.
Yep. We all know who wrote this bit. High-end's starting to ease up at least. There's the tiniest hint of a smile right there.
It triggered accidentally, is what you're saying.
So it's going to be like that then. Two can play at that game. You clear your throat and think of as many gun terms as you can. If only you were in an environment where you could look at the bunch of guns everywhere. Only because I had it in the chamber to begin with.
Can't help but wonder if you have some more of that caliber.
Could rifle through my arsenal if you'd like.
How are they organized? Bullet points?
Compact enough to clip on in any case.
You're doing it! The storm is clearing! The tension is dissipating! The crowd goes wild!
Ripite pumps his arms up in excitement, and you think it's enduring for all of 2 seconds before your eyes lock on the device in his hands. His wrist is twisted enough for you to see a clock face. There aren't even any knobs in that thing. You thought you saw him adjust something, but he must have been miming the whole time. You guys lowers to the rods in your hand. You didn't pick up on it earlier, but you think these might have been plucked from an antique television. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Siraj nudge Ripite's elbow. 2 times, then 2 times again. Ripite reads his magical weather device and gasps.
Oh, looks like the clouds are forming again. What's the matter, Regulator?
It all clicks. Siraj has been the one reading you both and alerting Ripite. She's his weather detector. She sees the clouds coming while Ripite mediates. They're making a fool out of you and derailing your investigation.
No, they're not, you stupid motherfucker! Oh my god, they're just being friendly! My god!
Yeah.
Ah!
We're done here. You hold the rods out to Ripite, staring him down until he hesitantly takes them back. This nonsense has gone on long enough. I'd like a moment to speak with High-End in private. Ripite's face falls and Siraj looks annoyed, but not surprised. Like this was inevitable.
I thought we were gonna work this out together. You know, solve the case for real this time. As a team.
I'm solving the case, Mr. Coldan, as the standing regulator in charge of it. And I'd appreciate it if I could go back to my job now, with no further distractions. You don't need Siraj's input to see how that cut right down to the bone. He averts his eyes towards the floor. Hyan, call us when you're done here.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Pite. We're leaving. Your senses, sharp as ever, catch faint traces of her attempts to console Rhypite. Something about it not being his fault and looking a gift myth beast in the mouth. Whatever. What does she know about people getting in your way? You don't need help from civilians. It's you against the world. Same as always.
It's not! It's not! It's not! It's not!
So, down to the particulars. I've had many of my peers swear by the quality of your craftsmanship, Hyan.
Refiro, if you think we're anywhere near first name basis, regular, I assure you, you're sorely mistaken.
You're usually the picture of professionalism, but the whole debacle involving Rhypite and Siraj seems to have thrown you off your game. 2 aerials thrust into your hands, and already you're forgetting protocol. This is no different to any other corporate-sponsored visit. Of course, for Pharaoh. Regular Yapara would do fine for myself.
Naturally.
I love Hyan's theme playing right now.
It's very good.
It's even more difficult to get a clear read on him, now that those two are gone. He certainly is a stoic individual, and those aviators do make it troublesome to see the usual facial tells. The eyebrow raise is easy enough to comment on, but his shoulders, his folded arms, they're tense. Guarded, but not afraid. You're almost relieved about such a standoffish response. There's nothing quite like the familiar ground of exercising your investigative skills.
Cecily, you are so fucked up in the mind. Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm fine.
No, me too, actually. That is exactly how I feel.
You just need to find the right way to unearth the information you're after. The steps to take toward satisfying score. Before that, though, you have to move the all-important first piece. As I was saying, you made it appear to speak highly of the quality of your craft for Pharaoh. And you've also made some custom firearms for regulars in the past, from what I've heard.
I have.
An expanse away from the Pharaoh who was just smoking sugar with a dynamic corporate duo. This is strictly business. Good thing you're all about business, too. For once, you can leave swamp escapades behind closed doors. You're not descending to bunkers or following Omsi's directives. And this definitely isn't a quest at the behest of some guest who often left you rather less than impressed. Instead, you guessed best. At Refero being an ideal supplier, you mean. What you're ultimately saying is that it's about time you did a regular-ass thing like purchasing some firearms from a shop. I'm looking to upgrade my arsenal before taking down a highly dangerous fugitive. Having a mix of compact and quiet machinery with decent range, as well as something for close quarters, should cover most of my bases, but I'm open to suggestions. You are the expert here, or so I'm told.
That? I am. If your eyes are set on quietness, silencers are your best bet. There's ones for pistols, submachine guns, and rifles. They also reduce recoil. Rather
Yeah, by the way, I wrote that line.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I did help, like, not as much, like, not, like, wholly in Cryo's route, but I did help a little bit of, writing in this route when Very was stuck in a few places.
Sure, fair. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Rather helpful for hunting and ensuring that you don't bring attention to yourself. Muzzle blasts make quite a piercing sound. As I'm sure you're aware, Regulator.
My training covered a few basic aspects of firearm use, yes.
Mind you, they only help in hushing the shot itself, not the bullet on its own. You're a highly dangerous fugitive, may still hear that.
I've always wondered why they're called silencers if they don't exactly silence all sound.
Please, spare me the it's actually a suppressor lecture. They're the same thing. I've dealt with some real pieces of work getting on my case over semantics.
Yeah, I also wrote this stuff because from looking up stuff online, from what I hear, there are some gun enthusiasts that are very much like, oh, it's actually a suppressor, not a silencer, fuck you. So it's like, that would be so funny to put in there. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I figured it was really funny to put in there.
No, I agree.
Far be it from me to question the wordologists on this one. For the record, I'm thankful for your knowledge in this area. His eyes have been trained on you for the whole exchange. Any slight movement noted almost instantly. You're not going to be able to find the new information you need like this. You have to get him out of your way for a moment somehow. Surely, though, there are some higher grade wares than the stock you have out on display. It will be bad practice to have valuable and dangerous firearms in plain sight, I imagine. There is a twinge of hesitation, and you hear him mutter a tired, of course, under his breath.
I really quickly want to read this. Actually, they don't really silence anything. I would know.
Thank you, Sabine.
Yes. I have some specialized stock in the back, but I assure you.
For Pharaoh, I must remind you of the seriousness of this case. I'd appreciate knowing all of my options. All I'm asking is to see them. That's not too much trouble, I'm sure. Otherwise, I'm sure I can leave a robust review of your shop in my final reports. A few seconds pass. Pharaoh seems intent on becoming a perfect candidate for Marie Tussauds museums, with how he barely moves an inch. Then he seems to recall that his body is made of flesh instead of wax and leaves the sales floor with a nod. Now's your best chance.
Please!
Yeah!
Please stop! Oh! I'm gonna pull my entire hair out. I'm gonna pull my beard out at this rate, actually.
No!
I Austin balding moments over Secily Iopara.
Austin rage quits because Secily is a bitch-ass motherfucker.
Your one entire hair, it's all one piece. Yeah, I have a beard wig. I can just remove it at will. It's like a Lego.
Oh my god.
It's like a Lego piece. Geeky girl buzz. Manipulate.
You manipulative. Oh my god. Alright, give me a moment.
You're flying. God.
Ugh.
Fucking damn it.
Yeah. She just does not learn.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. She never learns.
Before you start to comb this place for details, you're reminded of how quickly your professionalism was compromised earlier. A little caution goes a long way. You start with a general scan, a casual turn to survey the area. You're primarily searching out cameras. As you suspected, there's a few around. One is trained on the counter with the register. A few others seem to cover a good portion of the main floor, including the rear of the shop. You catch another one of the opposing side of the room, positioned just above an antique ancestor clock. All in all, a pretty standard camera layout. However, you're in luck. The camera is trained on the registers on the other side of the store. You could position your bag just right to ensure your actions are masked. Really funny how she's like, you know, a cop, and yet here she's like, basically just has a criminal mindset with the camera attention.
I mean, never forget ACAB. Never.
ACAB.
I'm Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Of course, you're absolutely licensed to make a full inspection of the premises if you so desired. Regularly, it's just as much information. It's just as much gathering intel and analyzing scenes as it is pursuing criminals. In your professional opinion, though, giving a forewarning to the trolls you're trying to get information from can lead to said information becoming less than accessible. Sometimes you just have to go for it.
We're gonna take Cecily back out to the farm.
We need to retire Secily. Force her to resign.
Please, please, I'm begging.
Yeah.
I will rewrite Volume 9 so Snowbound Blood ends there. She quits and glebes. Oh my god.
I'm sure there's a probability for that. Alternate probability. God. Approaching the counter with the most nonchalant walk you can muster as a regulator in charge in a large cloak, you try and eye any items that might be of particular interest. There's some assorted of receipts, a mostly empty cardboard folder, and, oh, praise the All-Mother, a physical Trilodex.
No.
Finally, someone gets it. There's no replacing the glorious feeling of a Trilodex card in your hands. The subtle coloring, the tasteful thickness of it. They're even marked by corporate so you know they're the real deal. That's perhaps one thing Necron has on you. He's comfortable dealing with technology. But that's fine. You've done a bit of technological sleuthing on this very case. OCS computers was like putty in your grasp. Can you hear yourself around a husk top? Absolutely. You just prefer not to, that's all. All of your musing has brought you exactly where you want to be, at the counter proper. You take a moment to rest your arm against the glass, leaning back against a sturdy cabinet. It places your body squarely between the camera and the decks. Satisfied, you make yourself busy pretending to keep your head level with the guns on the back wall. With a practiced hand, you begin your riddle quest, taking as much note of each card as you manage into the narrow window of opportunity. Flick. Pause to carefully read and remember. Flick again. You notice a few familiar regulator faces. Some trolls you recognize from a main data list of registered firearm owners. Ripite's card. Aha! Here we go. Halfway through, the flick of a divider brings to light a few interesting characters. Some are familiar, but most individuals beyond that single separating sliver are sinister, to say the least. There's even a very well-known underworld figure in here. Suffice to say, this is much more than you are bargaining for. You try and keep your composure as you finish your mental snapshots. Shoot, snapshots. Eves is right there. Not that you need time to recall all these cards, not that you've taken the time to look them over. It'll be much easier to record a quick rifle through the rest, though, and examine the footage at a time when you're not under pressure of being discovered by a noted firearm specialist. You mime a slight yawn and stretch. Really sell that faux apathy to the cameras. Work it, Cecily. Give them nothing.
I hate you. I hate you so much. Oh my god.
Yeah. Rereading this route specifically, it's just like, oh my god, hate Cecily.
So true, pensive.
Yeah. Having set yourself up to rest your head on your hand, you aim Eves as best you can towards those invoices lying on the table. Click. Much faster.
Regulator Iopara.
The voice comes from behind you. You find a look of being broken from an exhausted stupor, turning to face Pharaoh. Between his hands, you can see a number of complex firearms, clearly high quality. Before he can say a word, Pharaoh places him down on a nearby table. His lips curl in distaste.
You think me a fool, but I've heard tales. You see firsthand the hurt left in the wake, and that of your fellow regulators. I know of your ilk, and I know how I left my decks.
Deceptive. Regardless, this is well within your jurisdiction, as he should know. I would urge you to not be so hasty.
No, you listen to me.
His hand slammed down on the table. The firearms jostle. Your hand, in turn, goes to clench at Proserpina's hilt.
Just because you have the authorization to use invasive investigative methods does not mean you have the moral fortitude to wield them. You cannot come here and search my establishment for information about my clientele, who I will have you know conduct themselves far better than you happen to be doing right now. Life is not a game, Regulator Ayopara, and even if it were, you do not get to choose my moves for me. I will choose, and I will choose to move my king to C6.
You start bracing for an altercation. This is not at all what you were expecting, and definitely not from a known supplier of regulators. I warn you, Rafiro, that I will not hesitate to act as needed.
Where's your other blade now?
He gestures to where your hand was exposed or coat, poised on Proserpina's handle, ready as always to draw.
You have 2 scabbards, but only one is filled. King to B4.
Clatter of metal on a church floor, and a large jade figure bursts into your mind. You being thrown out on the streets by your lapels. Guilt. The sudden chime of your ringtone sends the image back in the same way it came, into the dark recesses to your mind. You fumble as you try to silence it. Now's not the time. You're left out of sorts. The myriad visual paraphernalia and use insistent ringing, threatening to overwhelm your senses. If you could, you'd close your eyes for a moment, regain some sense of stability. But there is no way you could tear your gaze off the scene for a moment. If Raipi's assessment is true, if the rumors from the other regulars carry weight, you need all your senses alert and active. I will not be interrogated, Rafiro. This is absurd! The person in front of you raises a single finger to his lips. Why you feel compelled to go along with such a notion escapes you. Maybe you're losing your edge. Rafiro adjusts his glasses, letting out a deep, heavy sigh. You feel his eyes search you, almost a physical pressure. Your own face staring right back at you through the reflection of his shades. The phone rings again. You almost fling it off your skull as it sings its digital song, meloding with the ever-present ticking of the ancestor clock. Your shaking, uncooperative hands manage to silence it.
How many times has that blade undeservedly cut short a life? How many times have you chosen to deal out justice as you saw it fit? How many lives have you ended in the name of culprit?
In her name.
King takes pawn at A4. Continue if you wish.
If you hasten in overstimulation, in your haste and overstimulation you have made a fatal error. You can only play this game to a stalemate now. That is quite enough! Your arm swipes across the air, as if it were Proserpina slicing through flesh. It crashes against the control deck, still sitting on the counter, cards scattering onto the floor like a toppled monarch. It's the first time you've seen Rafiro flinch. Your body follows your hand's motion, suddenly your eyes are trained on the exit of the shop. Fists tightly closed against your hip. One knock against the hollow sword case and you freeze. For a moment, the sound is all you can hear, echoing your eardrums. One deep breath, a slow turn, then a single word. Enough. The ringing stops. You leave the store. As soon as you're past the threshold, Eves once again chirps by your ear. This time, your hand is quick on the draw. This is a terrible time, Necron.
Secily! Thank God! We're starting to get worried out of my skull that you're taking a bad turn somewhere.
I'm surprised you have so little faith in me.
What'd you think of me, Seth? Haven't heard you since we stashed that sick lead in the grubby caverns. Did your big business give you a slap on the wrist? What's the skinny?
Your mind keeps latching onto the ringing, the ticking, and Rafaro's words. You shake your head, twice, a desperate attempt to shed the webs of audio silk wrapping around your skull. A long exhale leaves your lungs before you can hold it in. It feels like an eternity has passed since you went on that expedition. Every word that surfaces from the depths of your mind feels insufficient to offer as an explanation. I've been busy.
No kidding, pal. Kind of an understatement there. Still doesn't explain why you up and vanished. I thought we were a team. Couldn't keep a sec to keep me in the loop?
This case continues to jeopardize the safety of all involved. I can't let myself find Necron.
Sorry, Reg, but you and I both know that's a bullshit reason. If we can stand back to back, cultists surrounding us, and come out of that mess with just a few scrapes, I think we can handle one little breathy bastard and his gang of weirdos. Plus, you know my guppy and I got your back.
The thought of your scrappy mechanist friend makes the smallest of smiles creep on your face. It falls a second later, as your throat unexpectedly constricts. You press your back against the wall, the outside wall of Gunhilder.
Hey, Secily? You sit there?
You're so tired. You're going to get yourself killed, Necron. I can't be responsible for that. I don't want you getting hurt over this. There's a pause on the other end of the line, and then laughter. Small, but quickly building to an uproar.
You gotta be yanking my chain, boss! Appreciate the concern, but I'm a big boy! Been in this line of work for a while, remember? Plus it's way too late to be talking about getting hurt. Cause if you're looking to bounce on this partnership, I gotta tell you, that sting way more than any punch of a cultist could throw my way. You think I'm gonna let you get rid of me that easily? Please!
Stunned, you huff through your nose, but it's half a laugh on your own. What were you thinking? This guy will never give up. Would never give up right to the bitter end. Who better to have on your side? This whole case screams liability lawsuits. My mother knows Corporal will have a field day. If you're sure about this, we need to take every precaution we can. There's still a lot of information that we don't have going into this final confrontation, so we need to prepare for every scenario. I'm currently accessing some high-quality firearms for the conflict. We can rendezvous later to go over more detailed plans.
Right on! I'll get Orca caught up too!
You may want to check in with Bashiri as well. If you're insisting on going in as a team, I want the team to be as polished as we can make it.
The Miss Shiri? Truly an honor, boss! You can count on me! Alright, chat soon! And don't be a stranger!
The line goes dead. It's quiet. You spent so long with nothing to keep you company but your own thoughts. Threats continue to make themselves known. If known Amsi, then those he fought alongside Necron equally jeopardized the safety of the stronghold of this planet. You're not about to let them interfere any longer. But the expanses are wide. You couldn't cover the whole stretch of land between the wastes to the spaceport by yourself, even if you tried. If you've been tasked to protect those two vital individuals, Elsie Rains and Archie Rurat, surely some assistance would not be unwarranted. With your expert insight and leadership at the helm, of course. You can't do it all, Yopara. It's about the team, the group effort. Trolls from different walks of life coming together, bringing their own experiences and specialization to the table. A little help can be a good thing, you suppose. Not that you'd ever say as much out loud. You fetch out Raibai business card and turn it over in your hand once more. Good at puzzles like this. You had to piece together quite a puzzle over these past few weeks. But it's not whole just yet. Maybe you need to set a piece of eagle eyes to see where the missing piece fits. As you take a step towards the threshold of the gun shop, you hesitate, stopping dead in your tracks. Recall the previous altercation. Okay, you don't really need a full recall moment from something like that happened only a minute ago. You were caught snooping around Pharaoh's contacts and grilled like a steamed ham on Corporal Holiday. What he said about what you do, it stung to the core. You've always held on to the thought that you'd send as many into the beyond as needed to avenge her. How your pain has shaped you, Secily, how much stronger you are now that you have something to fight for. That exchange rings in your mind. You wish you could forget that whole conversation. You inhale, you exhale. The air is stale and cold. Reaching into your pocket, you pull out your card. Close your eyes and hold it against your forehead. She would have said the same thing had you tried playing games with her. What is it with you and Goldbloods? You slowly pull the card away and return it to its rightful place. Once more onto the breach. Things haven't changed much since you left. Scattered across the floor are the Troll Deck's cars you so carelessly collided with during that hasty exit. Hunched over them is Ferrero, who's gathering the cards into piles, meticulously arranging them back into neat, orderly stacks on the counter.
What?
He doesn't look up from the cards. I don't want to play games with you anymore, Rafero. And I apologize for my unprofessionalism here today. Rafero pauses. Then, he stands up, placing another stack on the counter.
Please leave, Regulator. I would like to clean up before closing for the day.
Right, of course. You take a step forward, but Rafero instantly takes a step back, teeth gritted. It's slight, but you can tell his hands hover to his holster. Diffuse the tension, clear the storm. Here. You unclasp your scabbards and remove your pistol holster, placing both onto the ground in front of you. Oh, Mother, you can't believe you're taking advice from Rhypite. Rafero slowly relaxes his hovering hand, taking a moment to look you up and down before resuming his task. You bend to grab a few invoices that were scattered closer to the door.
Not a bad pistol. For a regulator. What do you want?
Well, to be honest, I need help. And if you're so intent on scrutinizing my every move, I'd prefer if you at least scrutinize the moves I need second opinions on. A puzzle we can work on, together. You take a careful step forward, eyeing for a reaction. Farrah watches you, but doesn't respond in kind. He's tense, his breathing short and quick. You delicately place the invoices back on the counter. After a moment of deliberation, he moves over to the games area of the shop, pulling up a chair at the table with the mid-progress chess game. Speaking of progress, there it is again. You're hoping that empty bar will be filled with the serious helping of insight increments by the end of your exchange.
Sit. You have 3 questions, then you're out of my sight.
He makes a point of clearing the board and setting up 3 pawns along the back row. 3 questions. He guessed you'd best make them count. The Northern Waste crime scene. This particular assignment began with a priceless cargo stolen from an oversight convoy. It was traveling through the Northern Wastes at the moment of attack. On the scene was at least one broken maintenance drone and a small charred device attached to the wheels of the truck. The attack was precise, and although the truck was filled with a wide variety of items, only the one item was taken. Nothing else was removed.
They had prior knowledge then. It was a meticulous strike.
So it seems.
I've not heard a question yet. No, context is always appreciated.
He folds his arms. You can hear his boot tapping against the floor. Right, yes. What do you think? You're really on fire with the questions today.
God, you're so... you know the Breaking Bad meme that's Walter and his brother-in-law, and they're in the desert, and he goes, Walt, you're the stupidest person I know.
Yeah.
And you're stupid. I want that with Secily, and I want that with Ian, please, so badly.
You're the stupidest regulator I've ever met.
And you're stupid. God. Broad space to work with, I suppose. But challenge can be a good thing. I assume your highly dangerous fugitive is somehow involved in this ordeal, but that you're unsure how they knew about this cargo's movement in the first place. It's not a stretch to assume they had an accomplice within the corporate itself. One who would have an intimate knowledge of the scheduling and transportation division. Possibly a trucking enthusiast. I know a few regulars who keep their ear on local wireless.
Trucking enthusiast certainly sounds like a solid lead. Of course, you know one quite intimately, but, I mean, that's ridiculous, right? She's the reason you're able to effectively analyze the initial crisis in the first place. I surmise as much, but I don't exactly run in those sorts of circles myself.
Maybe you should start. It can be good to meet new people. Sometimes.
His scowl says a great deal about who he's referring to. Maybe you should pursue another line of inquiry.
Yeah!
Let's try something else.
Very well.
He removes a pawn from the board, setting it against the side of the table. The worst for all conversation. Through some very abrasive and loud investigating, I've gathered a recording of a particular voice discussing route data. They seem to implicate themselves as being on corporate payroll and selling this data to someone who took the length to disguise their own voice.
And the first voice was unfamiliar?
I actually haven't listened to it yet. You do have it, though, the recording. Sabine sent it through shortly after you returned from your expedition to the reduplication caverns. You just can't bring yourself to. You've been busy.
In my professional opinion, you should maybe do that. Regardless, this isn't a question. You're merely setting a scene.
One the pawn dances from side to side, his fingers shifting the piece idly to and fro. I'm getting there. There were a number of individuals present that night. Why do you think someone might have done that? Reparo pauses for a moment before moving the pawn between his fingers to the side of the table. Runs his hand through his hair.
It's a tall order to try and pin down any individual's motive. So many trolls have been forced into poverty through various factors. Sure, corporate provides what they can for those it deems valuable enough, but...
This is stepping dangerously close to anti-corporate sentiment for Pharaoh. I think he's allowed to.
I think he's allowed to, actually. He's... Jesus Christ, he's literally just stating motive, dumbass.
Yeah. His shoulders rise as he averts his gaze. After adjusting his glasses, he seems to find the words he's looking for.
There are trolls out there, barely able to make ends meet, Regulator. I'm just saying why. I can see why they might be trying to pick up some loops any way they can. But who knows? There's every chance it was a personal vendetta. Either way, it's definitely an informant on the inside. Anyone there who might have had it out for the company? Or for you?
I mean, it was a corporate event. The guest list was mostly employees. Preferred lets out a small chuckle.
In my opinion, that doesn't necessarily absolve them of any particular motive. So,
yeah, like, literally looking at Secily being like, oh my god, how could this supplier of regulators be mean to regulators? Yeah.
I just... God. Some trolls aren't as big as a fan of their bosses.
You're certainly not sure how you feel about yours at the moment, to be fair. It does have to let that statement slide. As for those with grudges against me, I'm sure there's a few. In fact, I know there was at least one. I spent most of my night with her. My kiss Mrs. Yeshin and the gaudy truck she rode in on. You clear your throat. The, same one I left in. Rufero raises an eyebrow.
Surely you recognize your own contradiction there, Regulator. Didn't you just tell me a moment ago that you weren't familiar with trucking circles?
I mean, certainly Yeshin has a fascination with trucks, but that's a long string to draw, Rufero.
If the piece fits, then it matters not its shape. I think Yeshin wants to... Surely she has the know-how and the required access to corporate information, especially as you've been in business for long. All kinds of opportunities arise if you're in the habit of keeping your ear to the ground. People with loose lips, data breaches, simple troll errors. Honestly, I'm surprised you've come to me before you talking to her. I would assume that would sort of lead you the way you would want to chase right away.
Her fingers tap an insistent rhythm against your arm. The two of us were quite close during the night. It's unlikely she slipped away after our rendezvous.
And before that?
You open your mouth to respond, but no words leave you. Rufero raises an eyebrow. I thought I was meant to be the one asking questions.
Go on then.
He gestures across the board back to you. One piece left. Investigation complete. Huh? Surely you're not done with the investigation already. But, clear as day, use displays a completely full meter. It appears all necessary insights have been revealed. with a question to spare. It doesn't feel like a victory. The conversation with Rivera has left your throat dry, your fists clenched. All the answers have continuously pointed towards the one case file you tried to avoid. The signs could not be clearer, and yet you hesitate. You open your mouth before closing it again, taking another moment to organize your thoughts. Your head is a maelstrom of feelings you don't care to examine. Not now. What is left to ask? What do you think I should do? The gunsmith carefully considers your question. The moon steps across the sky since your arrival at the shop, and her bright lights cast a pale glow over the scene.
I have no easy answer for you, Regulator Opaya. Sometimes all we can do is face the facts. 9 little word, start to see, to defeat.
Ending this on a cryptic note, it draws a small scowl from you. More crossword puzzles. He holds her gaze, waiting. You scour your mental vocabulary for possible solutions. Conquered?
Checkmate.
Rivera removes the final pawn off the board, setting aside before standing up from the table.
There you go. 3 questions.
Your eyes lock, and again you stare back at yourself in those visors. You're sure he's looking at you intently, scouting your actions. He is the first to break eye contact.
Please leave, Regulator Iopara.
Rivera,
Now. I believe we're done here.
You step away from the table, moving to collect your weapons. The scabbards knock against each other with a hollow clunk, and you hear a choked gasp cut through the silence. With methodical and practiced precision, you reaffix the weapons and straighten your jacket. Thank you, Rivera.
Good luck.
As you leave the store, the crisp breeze picks up once more. The moons are close to setting, and as the sun slowly rises, you find yourself pulling out her card. You hold her in your hand, willing her to give you the strength to face your last suspect. You have to know for sure.
Oh, that's such a good fucking Genshin, holy shit.
I drew that, haha.
Oh, you doll, let's fucking go.
Yep. Oh boy.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Okay, before anything else, what's new on the front page?
So it's kind of hard to see, but I guess if you press I guess if you press start, you can see it more clearly. You can see pictures of Krytum underneath a magnifying glass, and you see High-End's picture to the left side of Sinair. Because it's kind of hard to see with the logo.
Okay.
Wait, is it not there? That's strange.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Huh.
This is the most recent version. This is the update that has volume 11 in it.
So, yeah.
So I don't know. That's a good question, but I don't see anything.
Yeah, let me see if I can. I'll show it to you later, but
okay.
Yeah.
Oh shit! There's an alternative version to this where if you do the other one, oh, okay, that's insane.
Where it's like if Cecily asks about the awards night first and then mentions the Eshin and her truck, then Hein's like, oh, okay. But after that, when Cecily talks about how she doesn't know trucking circles, Hein's like, wait, no, that's wrong.
Got it. That's really cool. I appreciate that a lot.
Will the main menu screen be released to the public? I am not sure, but probably when the whole story's done.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
We didn't even just like between volumes we didn't even add in new things. No, everything for all the volumes was already set up from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, check the decks. Oh, that's a fair point. Okay, I'll go back really quickly. Yeah, Trilix.
Trolodex.
The Trilodix. A new perspective was acquired.
Mm-hmm.
Unravel the contradiction with
Mm-hmm.
Rivero.
God. And now, volume 11 next week.
Volume 11 next week. One of the climaxes of this story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can I just mention how I've been noticing how Yenshin was always mentioned since Volume 1?
Oh, true.
I didn't even consider that, huh? But I thought it was
Yeah.
good. I thought it was too good to be true. Jesus. All right, let's move over back again to the tier list.
Hell yeah.
All right, okay. I need to make a new. Add a row above. Uh-oh. I don't. Yeah. No. Hang on. God, I enjoy tier lists, but also tier list operates poorly sometimes.
No, yeah, yeah.
Next week, volume 11. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
coming down to it. Oh.
Yep.
Oh shit. Okay. Actually, while I'm okay, yeah, remind me as soon as we're finished doing the tier list for today, I have got to like actually check to see when we did the first stream of Vast Error, because again, this month it will be this project will be a year old.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Let me see. Where is your VODs channel?
Uh
ValantWynn VODs. There it is. I
there.
found it.
Okay, cool. Where
Let me find it.
where are the other boys? Okay, no, there's
The
Andari.
boys.
There's Andari.
Okay.
Uh
Let's see here. Stream was started on March 11th,
oh
2021.
oh my god. Yeah, hang on here. Holy shit. Yeah,
So next week will be the 1 year
1 year
anniversary of
anniversary.
reading Vaster on your stream.
God damn. Insane. Next
Yep.
week next week is the anniversary. What a fucking good time to do volume 11 then.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Oh man, where's Glommer? Where the fuck is the
In
final
great,
boy?
behind Gerbat.
Oh right, okay, there we go. Yeah, the boys get their own tier without a doubt.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I
Okay,
simply care all for them so much.
completely fair. Where do I put
Hyan.
where do I put Hyan? That's a good question.
I do enjoy routes where Cecily's called out on her bullshit.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him right underneath Mishri.
Yeah.
Han, I think this might be one of the most satisfying callouts of Cecily's entire character. Like it
Yeah.
like I felt it was so satisfying with ByteCon, but now 10 volumes in and after meeting 20 fucking people, Hyan basically putting Cecily into stalemate and then checkmating, it's one of the most satisfying things this story has done.
Yeah, yeah, like from the beginning when Snowbound Blood started to be in production, I knew in my head, yeah, Hyan does not like Cecily. I don't think they're gonna I don't think he's gonna like really like her or want anything to do with her beyond this. And it's it's kind of fucked up because it's like if Cecily was not like that, if she was a much more healthy and good person, I think she and Hyen would have gone along pretty well. Like they probably could have been friends if Cecily was like, better as a person,
It
you
sounds
know?
it sounds like it was actually healthy as an individual.
Yeah, like they probably could have been friends in some alternate probability, and that's what makes this route kind of like it makes the route kind of hurt, where they because you do see signs of them getting along, and they are similar in like their professionalism and their shared love and their
She,
shared love for like weaponry, like beyond just like, oh, these can hurt people, but
but she just is self-sabotaging at every point, and it's because is so she's so much more invested in professionalism than being an actual person. Like
yeah.
that is truly the tragedy of Cecily Iopara. She is not a person. She is a tool of corporate, and like
Yep.
she knows it, but she honestly doesn't try to fight it. Like
Yeah.
she's mad at the executive because like yeah, he basically admits that this whole fucking ring around it's not about corporate property. It's about basically him. It's about his wants, about his wills, and he doesn't even care that you know he thinks it was a necessary thing for Alina to die. Like it's
Hmm.
truly terrible, and she almost quits, and then she doesn't, and here we are, and like this whole route is like so much about her anger, and like it's so much projection. All of this is
Yeah.
projection. Both routes are about her projecting her own feelings of inadequacy and feeling like she has no control over her life and not having anyone to be there for her onto people that are actually healthy and actually have good relationships and the people she fucking oh god.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also like this whole volume is basically like a showcase of like after she decides to stay despite everything, after like she decided that no, after Alina died, she had nothing else, just her job. This volume really highlights how truly and utterly fucking alone Cecily is,
Mhm.
with both the boys being around in Crimes Route and also Hyan having Ripe Height and Siraj around to keep him grounded and such. Like, she's she's so fucking alone, man.
And not only that, but just high end calling her out, saying like you're not doing this for Alina, you're doing this for corporate, is like
Yep.
I hope that's the final blow to her ego, because holy shit, if this doesn't get through to Cecily, nothing ever will. Like like nothing ever will. And Jesus Christ, I just want to see Cecily at least grow, grow in some way, please.
Yeah, lack of support, like Necron not being there. I mean, obviously Necron is there in
But like,
Hyan's Route, but like Cecily is like, I don't want him involved. I don't want to think about him.
and but no, it's not even about. But like, she straight up admits to Necron, it's not about. It's about she doesn't want to see him get hurt. She
Hmm.
does, and like, okay, sure, I I guess that's selfless, quote unquote. But Jesus Christ, it's not. You're being selfish because he's been at this longer than you fucking have, and he has put
Hmm.
everything on the line for you, and you think that and you decide right here right now, oh no, I have to do this alone, I can't do this with him.
Yeah.
It drives me insane. God, I think you can tell by every time Cecily did something bad in this, something frustrating in this volume. I think you could tell that I had big thoughts, and they're all spilling out now because
Yeah.
I'm tired. I'm Cecily's not goddamn tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of her bullshit.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, just obviously I have many thoughts about Volume 10 because, well, I made these characters. But uh I do think like especially as like the volume before the end game starting, it really does like put like a lot of perspective
it
onto like
it
Cecily and how she is just so like she has been very far gone, and how like yeah, she's not like she's not a complete awful, evil, horrible person. Obviously, there is a bit of good in her. Like there's still like a semblance of a person in there somewhere, but ultimately she's just she's basically put herself in a scenario that she just can't really win or grow.
That's the thing. Like, she has framed her entire life about around a game, and I'm so glad Hayan said, "Nuh-uh, life's not a game, dumbass. This is
Yeah.
this is people's actual lives here."
Yep.
I do want to say really quickly, I didn't necessarily mean like Necron has been fighting these evils longer than Cecily. It's more like he has been on the trail of Noxious for longer than Cecily has at this point,
Yep.
and because of that, it is truly it is fist clenching that
Mm-hmm.
Cecily just goes ahead and says, "Oh, I don't want you to get hurt. This is my job now." Like, no,
Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. Like these routes freaking hurt because it's like not even just high end. She probably could have maybe gone along with Krytum too if she wasn't like that again.
She literally could have, like, again, when we finished Krytum's route, when I said, "Oh yeah," I thought either that they would actually sit down and be beds, or she would have to leave. Like, in my mind, I'm like, "Oh my god, Cecily could have been one of the boys. Cecily could actually have."
Honorary boy. Yeah.
Well, of course, I'm not. Yes, I'm saying boys
Yeah.
as just
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
name of the group, but
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
Cecily could have had the opportunity to be a part of them. I mean, honestly, very, very honestly here, Bicon and Cecily would probably never get along. But with that said, I think Indari and Cecily get along pretty well. And
Yeah.
definitely,
Or gotten along.
yes, exactly. But, like, she could make friendships out of any of them. Honestly, like, if Cecily was healthier, I'm gonna be real here. I could honestly see like a more Ray allegiance with her and Glommer. I feel like they have a lot. If she,
Not really. No,
well,
I
I'm
don't see it, but like I do
okay.
see a friendship. I do see a
I
camaraderie there.
Sure. I guess what I'm saying here is that like I would see it in regards to like they could both vent about how their jobs suck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cecily.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just.
I know. Cecily is eating at every scrap of humanity she has left to sacrifice her work, and like she doesn't have to do that. No one is telling her to do that, and she's doing it just herself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way,
Yeah. So,
would you like to see the teaser trailer for Volume 11?
oh yeah, sure. Is it a video?
Yes, it's a video.
Oh,
I'll put
okay.
it on here. It's on YouTube.
YouTube, where
I'll
the
put it in family voice chat.
okay. YouTube poop, where the poop is. Da da ba da ba. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an old school YouTube pooper. Um, yeah. Give me a
Mm-hmm.
second here.
You are in that very.
Yo, Vary's in that? No way. I can't believe this.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this trailer is very good.
Mm-hmm.
Very Split and Sarah Zedek all killed it on it.
Is there a good way for... Yeah, I'm gonna need a second here because I need to make a new capture for this.
Oh yeah, yeah. Take your time, man.
Yeah.
I know we've done it before with like a few faster flashes, but we haven't we haven't
We
done
haven't done
faster
that in a
flash in
long
a
time,
while.
and since I switched from Streamlabs to OBS prop...
OBS.
Uh-oh.
Uh, what happened?
Okay, Jesus Christ. OBS, like, took a shit for a moment.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, OBS straight up just almost entirely crashed, I think.
Oh no.
Yeah, that would not have been good at all.
Yeah.
No, don't play it just yet. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Okay. Uh,
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. You ready? I'm ready.
Yo, I'm Freddy.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Play.
Oh no, I'm not actually ready. It's not on screen
Oh,
yet.
okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. There we go.
Oh, wait,
Now,
Austin. Cecily has really been given every possible out that she possibly could to leave this case and become a better person. Her answer is always, but I don't know how to do anything else.
yeah, I mean, technically, she's right. This is what she's been bred and born to do by the admission of the executive himself. And like, there is an argument to be made here about Plato's allegory of the cave, where, you know, you live as much as you know. So like, theoretically, yeah, that is true. But also, Cecily, throughout this experience, has definitely learned better.
Yeah.
Okay. With that said, I do have it up now. So,
All right.
3, 2, 1, play.
For too long now, each of you disgusting individuals have polluted an impure world. Nothing more than simple organisms in a complex matrix of life. A matrix each of you can barely comprehend. The trash you so carelessly discard. The chemicals you so foolishly ingest. The experiments you so thoughtlessly perform. It makes me sick to my core. You are all a pestilence on existence. And I am the cure. I'm looking forward to finally meeting you, Secily.
Fear.
Fear indeed.
Yeah. When this trailer dropped, everyone shat their pants.
Yeah, I can imagine. I feel nothing but fear in my bones.
Shoutouts to Vary's Omsi voice acting.
Yeah, fucking big shouts out. That was really fucking good.
Yeah, and also the music by Split and PN, and also Sarah Zedek for editing the whole video.
Hell yeah. Oh god, don't put it like that, Very, please. Please. Oh god.
Very killed it for real, yeah.
Yeah,
I
holy
agree.
shit.
Oh boy.
Oh my god. Alright then. Next Thursday. Oh, I did a sequel, but you can't do it yet. Interesting. I I am eyeing that. Yeah, next Thursday, 6:30 p.m. CST. Volume 11 of Fun and of Profit. Have this for the road, bitches. Thank you for the fucking blessing.
Thank you, Austin.
We
Well, I don't need it, but Austin certainly
Oh, I
does.
need it. I need it. Jesus Christ. Oh god. Alright, this was the first of the Errors of March. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I know I really appreciate it. Yo! Second blessing, holy shit.
Hey.
Alright. Thank you again, Donnie, for joining me tonight.
Of course. I am very happy that this volume was very well received by you, and I'm very glad to have read it alongside you.
I agree. You are such a talented voice artist. You were so good. You were so good,
Thank
my
you.
friend.
Thank you, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
You too. Me and Austin both progressively lose our voices before volume 11.
No, fuck, don't say that. Oh, that would be so fucked up and evil.
God.
Oh my god! Oh, at the last chucking moment, bot. Alright.
Okay. Alright.
Oh my god.
Alright. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, it's certainly gonna be a fun time next time.
It's gonna be so much fun. It's in the title. It's a fun profit.
It's a fun and profit! So true!
It's gonna be so much fun. It's only Yeshin there. Things are gonna end fine.
Only Yeshin. Only Yeshin.
It's just Yeshin.
God. Alright. Any final words for me, bud?
Well, obviously, read Snowbound Blood. But also, I love the Snowbound Blood and Faster teams so much. Y'all mean so much to me, and I'm glad that we have made something truly special.
I'm not on the team, but most of y'all are my friends, and y'all are really talented creators. So, like, extreme shouts out to each and every one of you. Okay, alright. With that said, I'll be back next week. I don't know if I'm gonna do 4 streams next week like we did this week. I was trying to test that out because
That's fair.
I was testing that out. We'll see. I'll think on it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it will happen. But definitely, with that said, definitely stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. I mean, especially Thursday because that's VE day. Well, not the VE day, but a VE day. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I'll see you all next week. And until then, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Take care. Sweet dreams.